Boys, I had the wind knocked out of my sails today, and I had to tell you a little bit about it, but then I've got a question as well, because I'm not sure how to deal with it. So, Shauna doesn't normally like to play video games with me, and on the weekend, we upgraded my PlayStation membership so that we could get Grand Theft Auto Vice City, the definitive edition.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Hell yeah. Super fun. We played all weekend. We stayed up late. We had a great time. This afternoon, I get home from work a little bit early. I'm like, you know what, sweetest? Do you want to go play some Grand Theft Auto with me? We go downstairs to the basement. We get our snack. We get our blanket. We're all ready to go. We go to log into the game, and it says you need to upgrade your PS5 membership again. So I'm like, that doesn't make sense. So I look at the cost of the game, and it says it's now $199 for the definitive edition, which makes absolutely no sense because the 3 games is $79 right now on the PlayStation. So I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I'm like, okay, maybe we just have to upgrade it again. Like, that's so weird that PlayStation would have taken that away from us and made us upgrade again, but whatever. So I spent the extra $8.35, and now I've got the premium PlayStation membership, and it still doesn't work. So we Google it, and we're like, what the hell? Like, why is this not working? Turns out, I guess, as of February 21st, which is today, PlayStation is removing that game from the PSN library.
Oh, that's
what a random date. That's brutal.
Man. That's terrible.
So, wind out of my sails. I'm like, I never get Shauna to play video games with me. So my question for you guys is, has the wind ever been taken out of your sails on something like that? Whether you're with a buddy or with a fiance or a girlfriend or wife, doesn't matter. Have you guys ever gone somewhere, you're all excited for it, and then you get there, and for whatever reason you can't do it?
Yeah, there was this one time I was playing this game called Elden Ring. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it.
Wow. Do you have friends to play with you?
I walked right into that.
I thought I did have some friends to
That
play
Chinese
with.
guy, right?
My friends Marco and Ben, they were like, yeah, we'll play it. We'll fucking have a good time. They played one weekend, and I haven't been able to get them to play it again.
Wow.
It was the weirdest thing.
Oh, man.
It's crazy. The same thing kind of happened to me. I was, I was talking to a good friend of mine. His name is Dean. I don't know if you know him. Yeah. And he was like, hey, maybe we can get flight sim and we can do this flight from one part of, where what a Patreon lives and then fly to another part of Patreon lives. And I was so excited. Yeah. And then it never happened. It was crazy.
Yeah. Well, flight sim's an $80 game for no reason. So.
Okay.
What a bunch of flakes.
Happened to me too. I ordered a Joker with a 3-day window. Turned out it was going to be a 4-month window.
Incredible.
Oh my god!
Has that ever happened to you, Manny?
Didn't you guys miss me?
What a legend.
A little bit. Glad you had a refresher though, John. I do have a story from my childhood that I forgot about until now.
Oh my god!
I remember
Unlocked a memory.
My cousins and we were talking about Batman. My older cousin, she was I think maybe about 8 years older. She's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go watch Batman. My aunt takes us all in the car and drops her and her friend off, and they're like, oh, sorry, you're not actually coming with us. This was Batman Forever, and to this day, I'm still scarred by thinking that I was going to go see this new Batman film and then having to go see it a few days later. It's it was traumatizing.
At least they didn't take you to the dentist or something.
I know, right? But it might as well have at that point.
I mean,
I did cry. I cried like my neck of box was dented. So
honestly, the only time that I have my wind knocked out of me is when I'm going up the stairs. I mean, besides that, I can't really think of anything else.
Well, shit.
Wow.
Thanks for joining me in my discomfort and loss today, boys.
So did you get a refund from this happening, or you got bamboozled?
We basically got screwed. I mean, other than the fact that now I have this premium membership for a whole library of games I don't have time to play. And Shauna, the only other game she'll play with me is what the heck is it called? Overcooked, where you're basically tossing each other's lettuce in the kitchen for...
Oh, wow.
Sounds like you every Tuesday.
You and Shauna toss a lot of salad, or... Wow.
Yeah.
Holy cow!
Listen a second.
This time.
Call Sony. Call the PSN. Whatever. They should be able to help you.
I don't understand why it's $199 now. That to me seems like it doesn't make sense at all.
And that's for PlayStation Plus, or what's it called? PlayStation Now.
If you just bought the game, it's $199. If you
how is that game $200? I don't understand.
It literally zero.
It's probably because he's still on dial-up.
Ken, it's going to take a while for us to get it to you.
That's how much the PS1 disc costs.
Are you an angel?
What?
An angel. I heard the deep space pilots talk about them. They're the most beautiful creatures in the universe.
Hello there.
We are tonight's entertainment.
We would be honored if you would join us.
He's got a billion toys.
You brought in the doll collection.
These are not dolls, Jim. These are commodities. Same as gold or oil.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
You are now listening to the Collecting Weekly podcast.
Shall we lock in the artillery power?
This is the true form of floor gang right here. Very nice. YouTube.com/collectingweekly. Thank you very much. That's very cool. Big.
Hey guys, my name is Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Manny.
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
Ben's salad dressing, Marco.
Where's John at? What is he doing?
It replays. It was replaying your whole intro again. I'm John.
Oh, was it?
That's dial up.
That's that
It
Rogers
does that.
thing.
It is.
I'm
It does
Ben.
that even for club. Fuck.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't even know where we're at. Welcome to this week's episode of Collecting Weekly. It's a weekly podcast where my friends and I talk about the things that matter the most to us this week in collecting.
That's right. And
Yeah, we want to
Hold
thank our
on.
friends. Sorry, I
Really
sandbag
quick.
you.
in the private chat, you just put fuck D.
I was confused as well.
No. It's one message. Fuck Dean, my bad. I'll read the sponsor reads today.
Oh, okay.
That's
I
my
was like,
apologies.
what?
Okay, let's
It started from the
fuck it.
Put a
top.
comma. Put a
200
comma
and
next
256 episodes, and not all of them are going to be good. We want to thank our friends over at Rainer's Rarities for sponsoring tonight's week's episode of Collecting Weekly. We'll talk about them more at the break. I'm ill today, so bear with me. The show might be a bit odd today. But Dean, we have a very special segment that all of our best shows start out with.
Yeah, you guys ready?
Yes.
It's new this week.
Yeah. What'd you get new this week? I had a pretty good week. I ordered some figures from Ami Ami. The Elden Ring figure came out from SH Figure Arts, Vike. And it wasn't supposed to come out until like July or some shit. And then like I got a notification on they posted on their Instagram, Instamashi, that it was like coming out like the next day. And I was like, what the hell? So I canceled my order on BBTS and I just ordered it from Ami Ami, which it was like half off. Now the shipping was going to be worse. So I was like, well, I'll just order more figures. So I ordered 2 of the figures from Bloodborne.
Wow.
The Hunter and Lady Maria. Lady Maria just came out like last month. And the Hunter figure is old, but it's like really expensive, even after they reissued it. In fact, that's the most expensive figure in this lot. It was used, and it was still like another $20 more expensive than the other 2.
Wow.
But yeah, with shipping, it wasn't all that bad. So I got my FromSoft figure fix for a while. So super happy to get.
I want to go back. So you're going through and you see that post and here was your reaction.
What the hell? Oh my God! No way!
Yeah,
Congratulations.
exactly. Dude, I was like, hell yeah, because that's the armor I wear in the game is the fingerprint armor. So it's like, dude, that's my figure. You know what I mean? So I was really happy to add that to the collection, and it is badass. If you like Elden Ring, I added a sword. It only comes with a spear, but yeah, it's fantastic. So
Congratulations.
thank you. How was my new this week? What about you guys?
I picked up this behemoth.
Wowza.
Bane, 3rd scale Bane by Prime One. I had a local guy selling it. Shout out to Phoenix, actually. He helped me out in finding it. He sent me the link, messaged the guy. We were able to work out a deal. Long story short, the original guy selling it, right? This guy was selling it. I missed it by like 10 minutes. So I tracked down the guy who bought it off of him. I bought it off of him.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Some Godfather shit. You made him an offer he couldn't refuse?
Yeah, I said, buddy, I'll give you some more money. You're going to make easy money. You don't have to do a thing. And he agreed to it.
Wow.
So
Awesome.
this thing
That's
is so
big dick
cool.
energy right there.
Such a cool piece.
And it's 2 for 1 because Batman's right there in the statue.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. You actually...
Third skill. Insane. Size is insane on this.
Yeah, you have a great video on your channel. It's out of the box. Real cool stuff that John's doing over there. So
Loved it, dude.
If you want to see
Appreciate it.
more of this, definitely check it out. But dude, this thing is huge. What is the weight on this for those that are seeing it for the first time?
Don't even ask. I can pull it up, but off the top of my head, it weighs a lot.
Same.
Oh, okay.
Like it's on a. I'll pull it up. It's on a dining table.
Is that in kilograms or?
I have it on a table. It takes 3/4 of the table. So
Wow. What year was this created?
this is a good few years back, but it's still available. You could still pick it up on the Prime
Really?
site. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, this is incredible. Like there's not a whole lot of statues that really pique my interest, but not that I could ever do this, but this is a beautiful piece, John.
Appreciate
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely go check out that video if you want to see more of this on the Everyday Collector YouTube channel. Marco, you got quite the haul here.
I did. I just want to give a shout out to this community. What a freaking beautiful community. Got a bunch of gifts when I got home from work. And yeah, just things that are just too generous. So first shout out I want to give to Stephen Percha, who hooked it up with a pristine Ninja Turtles Secret of the Ooze box. Now, he heard my story, obviously, being a CW family member, about my dented box. And, you know, he was like, hey, I'm going to send you one. I was like, please, no, don't. And, you know, he just ended up sending it. I just come home today and it is, at my doorstep. So it is pristine. It is beautiful. I'm setting up, hopefully a little streaming area in our back house, and this will be a centerpiece of that. So thank you, Stephen, for hooking it up there. Also, my brother Zach, sent over some really awesome stuff. He's been going crazy with the 3D printing, so did this really cool base. So he and I have been chatting about bases, and since I got my module cases, I kind of wanted to have some different varying heights on figures. And I will say, just a little bend to the knee really adds like some great realism to the figures. So blown away with how this rock base came out. And Zach also printed some 1/6 fix tags. I should have gotten a better picture, but basically tags for Pancake. And I'm going to share them with my sister's dogs as well. So really cool stuff. And 3D printed something for an air tag for Pancake. So awesome there. And then shout out to Joao Breda as well, who sent me, I made a post on the BST group looking for the Mark 85 battle damage base, and never got anyone reaching out to me to sell it to me. And so he just hooked me up with one of those, and also sent me this Hot Toys pin over here. So really, really generous week from everyone. I know, just what
he sent you the whole base.
People. He sent me the entire base all the way from China.
Wow.
Like, just people are just way too freaking nice. Like, I don't even understand. I'm just like blown away by the generosity in this community. So thank you, everyone. And last thing, I don't really collect this scale, but had to get the Jedi Survivor Cal Kestis. And BD, oh my gosh, what number is BD?
BD1.
BD Bum Bum.
BD1, there you go. So that's
there
right.
You go.
That's right, the Salinas one. So, but yeah, so overall, really good week. Not a lot of 6 scale stuff, but yeah, very happy overall.
Yeah, Dante, I will look at that pedestal and let you guys know. Crazy pickup. So, Marco, how easy is it to, is it collector-friendly packaging where you can transplant what you have into this box, or are you just going to display the box on its own?
I'm just going to display the box. That was always my intention. I wanted to, take the figures out, which the whole experience soured me, and I never even took the figures out. They could be broken for all I know. I haven't really, gone that far. So I know, wouldn't that be something? But this box is going to be a display piece. Again, because this is a movie that I played the hell out of. I don't even know. Maybe I've seen the first movie like twice in my life, but I have seen the second, oh my gosh, many times. So yeah, this is a very special box to me.
Dude, wouldn't that be something if you contact NECA because one of the figures like is loose and they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll just send you a whole new box."
I wouldn't be shocked, honestly. I would not be shocked. So,
Just don't talk to
using
my
their
lady.
logic,
She'll hang up on you again.
That's right.
Congratulations, Marco. You love to
Yeah.
see it.
Thank you, everyone.
So I had a pickup as well. I actually had two pickups. I just haven't had a chance to open the second one. But for my good friend Hunter, I picked up the Damn Toys Red Wings Lone Survivor. This is based on the film, so this is Mark Wahlberg's likeness. Really neat figure. I'm so glad that I bought it used because there's like 85,000 buckles and patches, and like the gun itself probably has like 30 pieces to it. So I basically just opened it and was good to go. I would imagine it would take probably a few hours to put this thing together. So definitely glad I didn't have to deal with that. And this is kind of what that base looks like, just as the raw print. I'm working on making them a bit bigger, but the one I sent Marco was like the prototype, so we can get an idea of, kind of what works and what doesn't work. But yeah, really nice figure. I also got the Baby
Are you going to
Yoda.
put magnets in it?
No. I also got the Baby Yoda. No, that would be too much, because then I have to put magnets in my figures too. I did get the Baby Yoda set from Paul. Again, I haven't had a chance to open it, but it did arrive today. Let's check in with the chat. We'll start at the top. We got Toy Mafia, Sam Gist, Tukatri Mojo, Dante's Boneyard. Erwin says, ready for my weekly dose of CW. What's up, everyone? Bob Dylan, the Beard Squad, King Dingaling, Calvin, the Low-Key Collector, Alvin Jules, Paul Schreiber, SpongeBob SquareBalls, Jesus Christ, David Jones, Mojo Z 7 8 years ago. I took friends and family to see the movie Freddy Got Fingered. May never forgive me. Niculio the Great and Powerful, Rob Barnes, Brenton Palmer. What else we got here? Baby Boy 562 checking in. Happy Tuesday, fellas. We also have Mark Pearson, Toy Mafia again, Cram. The statue apparently weighs about 100 pounds.
40 kilograms.
Jesus, Cash to Gemini. Equan says boycott over. Now we can have a dedicated NECA show. I don't know. We'll have to talk if we're going to end the boycott, but
no, because it wasn't.
See.
It wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't
fixed by
NECA.
NECA.
They're still asses, but you know what? To each their own.
Let's rewind a bit. A few of our panelists were not here last week. It was the Day of Love. And let's recap. Batman 89 Standard Edition, retailing $279. You can pay a few bucks extra to get the deluxe at $345. These are releasing April to September 2024, so we're inching towards that 2025 estimation. John and Ben, we'll start off with you guys, and I guess if anyone has any retorts, anything they want to add, anything that they've thought of throughout last week, we'll go from there, and we'll talk about the Batmobile next.
Ben, the floor is yours, my friend. Go ahead.
Can you imagine if I was like, it's okay. You guys waited this whole time, and that's all I gave you? You'd hate to see it. Okay, so I'm actually pretty freaking excited about this. I've been wanting this particular version of Batman since I started collecting Hot Toys, and at least in Canada, the secondary market is insane. Like you can't get this for less than, I think, $700. So it's just been out of my price range for the longest time. Obviously, to the folks who have this in their collection, I hope that they don't feel burned by it, because as another reissue of kind of being out there, I know people can feel that way. At the same time, I am very excited for my own collection and for those who don't have this guy, because I do think that this is a 2.0. It doesn't feel just like a straight reissue like we've seen in the past. I feel like they've got some good upgrades here. I've heard that the cape is significantly improved over the previous iteration, so that's something I've learned since my kind of initial thoughts on it. Obviously, the paint apps on the face look fantastic. I got the deluxe, so I don't day one pre-order pretty much anything really ever. But this was one I was like, I know I wanted in my collection, so I got the deluxe version with the base. And I was surprised when I listened to you guys last week that you guys were saying like, maybe not, the guy can't stand on it as well, stuff like that. I agreed with your take last week, Zach, that I think that the computers in behind would have been kind of that next level diorama display. But for me, the gargoyle is sweet. I mean, it's such an allusion to that final scene in the film where, he hooks the Joker onto that very gargoyle, which ends up, taking him off the roof and killing him, right? No spoilers. Hopefully you guys have seen the film. But I think that's so cool. It makes me wonder if they're alluding to a reissue of that Joker, if those likeness rights are available. Hard to know.
He does come with Vicky Vale's heel as well, so it feels
from
like
the secret
maybe
I would
we'll get that Joker.
Jesus, Margot.
I would definitely want a Joker over a Vicky Vale. I don't know if you guys talked about that much last week. I don't think I would want a Vicky Vale in my collection.
No, sorry, Ben. I'm just saying I think that's hinting towards the Joker as well, not for a Vicky Vale figure.
That's fair. The only other thing I would say, though, is that if you, for example, are now also thinking about buying the Batmobile and you wanted to get this guy just with the Batmobile, not necessarily have the base for the figure, I also think that base could go really well with other figures out there. I could see him with a Daredevil. I could see him with a Spider-Man. Like, you could work it in if you wanted to, and I think it could still be a really badass display for multi-use as opposed to just for your Batman figure. So I'm very excited about it. I've got these on the way.
This is an absolute travesty, this release. Travesty. Knife to the heart.
Everyone buckle in. We're getting to the spin zone.
No, we're not going crazy. I just
I love it. No, I love the passion.
A travesty. That's the only word. Disgrace. It's just I don't even have words.
Travesty, that's the only word, but also disgrace.
I don't even have words to describe how I feel about this. They put it out after the freaking Super Bowl commercial.
Right after.
Okay, and it doesn't even make sense because my take on this is this should not have happened at all. Like, at all. You should have let these figures lay where they were lying. Okay? What if they were gonna just think about this. The 89 suit is not even close to what we saw on screen.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely not even close.
Okay? The return suit is closer. The return suit is closer than what we saw on that screen. My take on this would have been, if this company had any dignity, would have been, and I know, they would have did the Flash version. Well, we get a Flash trailer and you're giving me marketing for the 89 Batman? Why are we not getting marketing for the Flash version? What, we're going to wait 2 years for that? Like, travesty, the fact that they went back and revisited this line. Absolutely, absolutely disgusting. Gargoyle base, the only thing that makes this release cool, in my opinion, is Vicky Vale's shoe. That is it. Gargoyle base with a stand so close that you can't even pose them properly. That crotch grabber. The suit. You think you're going to get this suit in that Batmobile again? Okay. Sure. No way. This was just heartbreaking. And then, not to mention the Batmobile, to revisit that gem. No, this is a bad move in my opinion. Yeah, people missed out. You know what I say to them? Too bad. You missed out. That's just how life works like that.
But I guess the good thing is we didn't miss out because we're getting the reissue.
Well, yeah, but you people who are saying, "Oh, well, we're getting the reissue. Yay, congrats. Let's all pat each other on the back." Well, yeah, you're getting the reissue, but again, it's kind of, I don't want to say entitlement, but because then I'm arguing the entitlement for the old school collectors as well. But yeah, this is just really bad.
Do you think, John? One, I 100% agree with what you said about the base. Like, they're clearly, like, the way they have the nameplate, it's really meant to be displayed, at least, if the typical thing is the nameplate is in the front of the figure. You have that tiny little crevice where you have the stand that you can kind of fit half the figure in. So the display base is weird, but obviously the gargoyle does rotate. But I would say, we're in that sort of Warner Brothers 100 celebration that they've been doing. This being, I would say, arguably the most iconic Batman, or very close to it. Do you think that has any bearing on
this?
Yeah, that makes it
could.
better.
I don't know. We don't know. We're not going to know. On the fact that that's why they're bringing it back.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a better move. It could. I think it would have been a better move to be advertising the Batman from Flash movie. We got
I 100%
we
agree.
we got a vault of suits in there. Why are you going back? Why are you going back?
Because they know this is the best suit, right? Like he looks good in the Flash trailer, but this is the best suit.
Okay, Marco, I understand I understand, but they did it already, right?
I'm surprised
You got
you
to
don't
kind of
like it
separate.
more.
Sorry, go ahead, Ben.
I was going to say, I'm surprised you don't like it more only because in the past you have said, a 2.0, at least if they're going to do it better. And in this case, they actually did. If they were just like one for oneing it.
What do they do better here? The base?
Better,
the nameplate, or not the nameplates, the face plates I think are different. The cape is supposed to be better.
The cowl
the suit,
itself.
I believe the cape is going to be like the Kylo Ren material.
I don't think the faceplates are better on this release. There's one that looks exactly like Val Kilmer. When you look at it, it actually looks like Val Kilmer.
I'm with you on that. I thought it was Val Kilmer.
That one does look a little like Val Kilmer.
So these faceplates aren't better? Are you kidding?
I think they're better than the originals, though, from what I've seen, at least comparison photos. So, I mean, subjective, though, right? It is what it is.
I've heard upgraded body as well, but I haven't read the fine print to confirm.
And the overall texture on the cowl is different. It's more accurate, I think.
We're definitely going to have to get it in hand, but for me, this wasn't warranted. A 2.0 wasn't warranted. Now, I'm glad you put this photo up. If they had given us maybe a pack like this, where you could get the computers with him, okay, I can kind of see you revisiting it, make it make it limited, where it's like they open up the batch again, kind of like they did with Anakin, a Dark Side Anakin, where it came back, okay, they're revisiting it, fine, with the computers. But you're advertising the computers, you're giving us a gargoyle base, and we still can't buy the computers? No. Nope, it's not warranted. Same with the Batmobile. They did nothing to that Batmobile. Nothing. Some people are saying it's a little bit longer. You're telling me they did a new mold for that Batmobile just to make it longer? That Batmobile, they did nothing. It's the same inaccurate from the first release. If you're going to, same inaccuracies. If you're going to come out with the Batmobile, tweak the inaccuracies than you had on the first one. Nope, they didn't even have the respect to do that. Here you go. Take the same one.
So to that point, the new Batmobile 715, again, there are options there if you want to spend a little bit more with other companies. Jazz Inc. is doing one. I've never seen this one in hand. I know a few people that own it that have enjoyed it. I still think, like, from all the photos that I've ever seen of this throughout the years, I've never seen one person put a Batman in their Batmobile. I don't know, John, maybe if you know it's possible, but I've never seen this. So I think it was Dean last week that said they may be working some sort of who is that? Damn it, Ben. That they may be some sort of a bust that fits in there where you can kind of futz it a bit. But if this is released and you can't physically do this, I think it would be a travesty by Hot Toys, to be honest, to advertise it like this. Because there are going to be some people that do want to display that. So hopefully the new body is up for it, or the new figure at least.
I do agree with John though that they should have. Oh, sorry, I know they haven't had a chance to go necessarily, but I think that they should have done a bit more to the Batmobile, especially given they've got competition in the market. Maybe on the final release, the paint applications will be better. Maybe they'll improve the size as well. But it feels like they should have done a few more touch-ups. And hopefully they don't also do, a version from the Flash or give us, upgrades for that version. It feels like probably oversaturation for this Batmobile. But yeah, I'm slightly disappointed. But I think at that price point, I'm still all in on it. What do you think, Ben?
You're on mute, buddy.
Thank you very much. The DeLorean was supposed to be the only vehicle I brought into my collection. And then they released this. I did not expect this to be at the price point that it is. For what it is, I think it's well priced in comparison to now the older version. I actually am with John on this one, though. I think it is disappointing that we didn't see more upgrades on this. I feel like there are upgrades for the Batman for sure, from what I've seen. But on this looks pretty much exactly the same. Now, again, they haven't increased the price tremendously. On the secondary market, this was going for more. So really all this has done is hurt the value of people who had this in their collection. If they were going to do it again, I think that they should have improved some things here. I do want a Batmobile in my collection, so I don't want to be butthurt about the fact that they didn't do much and then still buy it anyways. I don't want to be a hypocrite. I am definitely still considering it. At the current moment, the DeLorean is going to be my only vehicle. I'm going to wait on this one for at least some time. I have to think about it for sure. The Jazz Inc. one for me would be way out of my price range, though. So if I was going to consider it, it would be this one for sure.
And don't forget the potential if Inart ever touches it. So that's something to keep in the back of your head.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about the double dipping here in a little bit. Sorry, I had to step away for a second. Does anyone else want to have another crack at this one, or we can move on to the
And just to
news?
know, I don't know if you guys mentioned the last episode, but this one doesn't come with that clam shell.
Yeah, correct. We did mention that. So this one, that little
Which is not that big
plastic.
of a deal.
John, I do have a question for you.
Only one.
So you say that it was disrespectful of them to release this with no
disgraceful.
Okay, disgraceful to release it without any upgrades. Would you say that it's the same thing when talking about the figure, since they did do notable changes?
Notable? I'd have to look. Honestly, I was so disappointed by this, Manny. I'm gonna tell you this. Heartbroken by this release that I didn't even dig into it. I've been meaning to do a video for my channel about this, and I haven't even built up the courage to look into this and see. I've seen some tidbits where I don't like to dabble with community bull. There's a lot of community. Well, they're doing this. I want to hear it from Hot Toys. I want to hear it on their post. Hot Toys post says they tweaked the suit. What else did it say?
I believe it's the suit, the body,
the cape. Well, the cape would be part of the suit, I think. So
yeah.
I think we're fine there. But I don't think it's going to be a massive improvement. And don't get me wrong. My 89 Batman has never seen the light of day. So I've never even pulled him out of the box. What are we, 10 years? How many years has it been? Never. Plastic, everything is the same. Because those I really keep close to my heart. So maybe they do improve the suit. Are they going to improve the suit where you think you're going to fit your Batman in there in the Batmobile without damaging it over time? No way.
I doubt that.
No way. Just
not without damaging it.
So
for me, that's not that big of a deal though, because he looks so damn good just standing next to it. Now I get if you're going to advertise it with him sitting in there,
He should be able to
probably
do
be
it.
able to do that. Yeah. So
I just think that this, again, I'm looking at Hot Toys. I'm looking at Hot Toys from the old school lens, because a lot of people don't do that nowadays. So the way my opinions and stuff are 1 in a million in this community. Looking at it from an old school lens, it's just Hot Toys are not, in my opinion, collectible anymore. I wouldn't put a Hot Toys on a Walmart shelf, and I wouldn't be surprised. The only reason they don't put them on a Walmart shelf next to Hasbro figures is because of the price tag. Put them on a Walmart shelf because it's the same crap when it comes to their business practices. The revolving door. That's it. You're going to see lower production runs now and more re-releases. That's going to be the way of the future.
Great question there, Manny. I think one of the big things, even now that it's been a week, and I know we talked about this last week, but the fact that there's no powered option, obviously you can buy a battery adapter, but kind of a missed opportunity to do a USB-C for this.
Nothing, Zach, nothing. No audio, starting the engine, nothing. They put it into the Iron Man Mark 1. You're not putting in the Batmobile?
Turbine.
Such an iconic...
So,
fuck, please.
Let me ask you this, John. I know you mentioned earlier that you were heartbroken. In the past, you've mentioned that if they did touch this again, this would kind of be the straw that breaks the camel's back for you. Now that this has happened, is there anything that personally that you're thinking about for Hot Toys and collecting? Are you going to begin selling things? Is it something that you're just no longer interested in purchasing from the company?
Or
is it still a lot of time to figure out kind of where you sit on that?
So I said on an episode that if they touched 89 Batman, that would be it. I think I said that on an unboxing. That would be it. So I started selling my Star Wars stuff. It's just the way it's going to be.
Putting that back into statues.
putting it into statues. Not only statues, I'll put it into figures as well. I'm putting it into other figures. Inart's doing their Joker. I'm thinking of. I have that pre-ordered. So
Yeah.
not just statues. I'm going down a Batman route. So I'll never sell that 89 Batman from Hot Toys, whether it's the first one, the second one, never, because that's just, for me, that's nostalgic, completely nostalgic. But when it comes to buying, yeah, I'm gonna be thinking twice before what I buy, and I haven't bought in a while purposely. Yeah, do I come on the show and open my mouth? Damn right, because so many other people don't. So do I have to buy to come on the show? Well, when Zach gives me that ultimatum,
I've never said that.
I know. Let me hold on. Let me finish that.
Well, I just want to clarify.
Yeah, he's never said it.
I got 5 figures. I don't have any room to talk.
When and if Zach ever gives me the ultimatum, well, you got to buy Hot Toys to be able to talk about it, we'll cross that bridge. But I will continue to talk about it because the amount of sugar coating that goes on is, I don't like it. So
I don't really
share my opinion.
Dean, I know that you want to jump in there, but I don't really understand that point. Like, some of the best sports broadcasters have never played that sport. Like,
it's stupidity.
I'm here to give opinions, right? People
should
like to hear
probably
opinions
understand the rules if you're going to commentate. And John has bought enough Hot Toys in his lifetime to understand the rules, and he follows it. So
I appreciate you, Marco, but everybody on this panel, everybody in this community owes nobody any explanation from anything. You don't like what you're hearing, you want to put your 2 cents, go fly a kite. Don't watch the show. You talk about what you want on your show, and we'll talk about what we want on our show. End of story. That's it. We got our viewers, you got your viewers. That's it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like,
John, I do have...
whatever. Go. I'm fucking...
sorry, Dean.
Off 1 week, my blood pressure's up.
I know you wanted to go, so I can
go. Go, Dean. Sorry.
I was just going to ask John if you ever found a deal good enough, maybe you don't want to buy directly from Hot Toys, but you love the 89 Batman, and like you said, your original ones have never seen the light of day. Would this be a figure, if you found a good enough deal locally, that you would buy it and like display it? This 89 Batman? Because you don't want to ruin the integrity of your original one, and you're like, well, I kind of want to display it, but I don't want to mess up mine.
I wouldn't.
Just off principle?
Off principle. I was thinking about the DeLorean. And even the DeLorean, I can kind of get away because it has the version from the second movie, right? The flying. So I could get away with that. But something like this, it's too much for the heart to handle.
Even from like a secondhand collector selling it?
I can't.
Wow.
I can't support it.
Hey guys, really quick, Alvin J told me that he only sees 4 figures, so he says I need to go. So I'll see y'all next week.
Wow.
Bye.
Thank goodness. Thank you, Alvin. Appreciate that.
Whoever's clicking something in the background.
I do want to say something. Remember, like 2 episodes ago, we had the discussion. The topic that if you could go back with the knowledge you have today, what would you change about your collecting?
Yeah.
If I can go back, I would pull out every Hot Toy I owned and display it and enjoy it. Because I collected and...
That's so painstaking to hear.
I collected and I had this... like,
it's heartbreaking.
I had this vision, not monetary, because I don't sell. I never sold, never had the intention to sell, ever. And I wanted to be like 40, 50 years old one day with my kid and say, hey, have everything mint in box. And when we had the house and a collection room set up, go through everything and pull everything out and enjoy it with him. And I just feel like now I can't do that. I can't do it because I just know where I started in this hobby and how the hobby was and how Hot Toys has grown and flipped. And of course, their business just looking after money, but their intentions and what they've done and the steps they've taken and how they've done releases, and it nauseates me. So that, for me, it means nothing. So I would have fucking displayed it, sorry for swearing, and would have enjoyed it.
I know that's how you said you feel, John, and I would never want to change the way you feel by any stretch, but I still think you could 100% do that with your son in the future. I think that would still make you like the absolute coolest frickin' dad
I guess, let me
ever. Like, he would have no idea about the value or any of this drama that's happened.
It's not value, but it's like, I remember collecting when I was 15, and the excitement and the hunt and you'd buy a hot toy and yeah, it would go up in value and stuff, but I wouldn't sell. But still, it's that collectability. For me, I know collecting's at a point now where everybody says the more the merrier. But when I was collecting, it didn't work like that. It was, you know what? Yeah, you got a rare item. Nowadays, you think you're selfish. If you pick something up and you want it to go spike a little bit or get sold out where other people can't have it, you're considered selfish. Like back in the day, it was all part of the hunt. It was part of the excitement. It was part of the being there to buy it at the right time. And that's it. That's what I miss.
Let me ask you this, just to the panel, to John also.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say 20, 30 years go by. You're at the ripe old age of 50. And these are the two releases that Hot Toys have done for 89 Batman. I mean, you don't think that the first one would, over time begin to gain its value again? Like long term, if these are the only two?
In 15 years of collecting, 17 years of collecting, whatever it's been, you would think so. And that's crazy because I just had this discussion on another channel in the statue world. You'd think the same with statues, but it's not. This is one of the only hobbies where you got stamps, coins, other hobbies, that the comics, that the original doesn't maintain the value. And I never understood that. Because I understand they're putting different materials and upgrading, consistently upgrading, but that original should always be above them all. Just like in comics, right? They do variants, they do facsimiles, but that
First print
original
is typically the rarest, yeah.
So I don't know, maybe one day, but at the end of the day, am I going to go then risk? We got to look at the quality too. Like for me, I kept everything in a box, mint. I pull out everything. Doesn't matter if it's silicone arms, pleather pants, nothing. Everything is mint. Everything. I guess that helps too now with the reselling because I've been getting top dollar on the Star Wars stuff. Yeah, so I didn't. It's not all a loss, but I know I'm talking a lot of smack too because I'm not necessarily 100% invested in Star Wars. I'm more of a Batman guy. I always have been. So I think that's why it's a little bit easier to, okay, well, list it here. Wow, I could get this for it and get that for it. And that's why I'm not willing to let go of the Batman stuff. But it's heartbreaking. You guys, we joke about it and stuff. And, everybody on other channels talks about it and get over it and stuff. But it is heartbreaking.
Yeah, obviously, it's your collection, so I don't want to come across as like trying to tell you what to do. But I would love for you to just open the damn thing and display it like Manny has behind him and maybe regain some of the love for the figure, because I bet once you had it in hand, you'd be like, damn, this thing is awesome. And I don't have that regret for buying it. I get you bought it for a different reason that maybe I'm into Hot Toys, but yeah. I feel like that would spark a little bit more of your love again.
But I just sold Palpatine and the 2 Royal Guards, and it was hard to let it go. And before I let it go,
they're gonna make them again.
Before I let it go, and that's not even why I let it go. Before I let it go, I opened it and I held, like I'm a psycho. Like I held Palpatine in my hand, and I just looked at it and I'm like, the love wasn't there. Okay. The love when I bought it, it was not there. I don't know how to explain it.
It's hard.
Wait, you're saying when you initially bought it.
When you initially bought it, yeah, just because there's history. There's history, whether they're reissuing the Star Wars stuff or not. You grow up with this company, and and they don't owe us anything. They don't owe me anything, and I know they're not numbered and stuff.
Yeah,
but they're also not going with the image, or they weren't going with the image of we're the cheap option that will, down the line you'll be able to pick up other options. Like that wasn't them, right? They were the top of the line, best of the best, kind of like how Inart is advertising themselves now. So is this a potential rabbit hole for Inart in the future to do reissues? Who knows? But how Inart is starting is how Hot Toys was. Top of the line, you wanted a top. There was, what was the toy? Metacom and some other dinky thing? Yeah. Hot Toys was the top of the line.
It's also worth mentioning that Inart hasn't explicitly said they would not.
Of course.
Would not reissue. Useby said, as someone who has had his collection box for the past 4 years and finally displaying it all, it definitely reinvigorates the love. I think we had a very passionate, respectful discussion there. Let's go ahead and move on to the new news of the week. No. I think it's good to unpack a lot of that stuff. Inart Collectibles put up a post yesterday. Updates on the Batman and Bruce Wayne 1/6 scale collectible figures. After the last release, Inart has made some minor changes to the figures based on their original film and photographs of the actor from multiple angles. So the 3 updates that they have are the Batman head sculpt update, Bruce Wayne head sculpt update, and the combat armor, the cape and helmet update. Cape length and helmet head sculpt shape. As always, let us know your thoughts. Here we have
the you got to put the thing on.
Oh, god damn it! I'm sorry.
No problem.
Thank you, John.
Okay.
So here we have the before on the left, the after on the right. I kind of wish that they had shot both. I mean, aesthetically, I get it, but I wish they had shot all this on white backgrounds.
Stupidity.
I think it would make it much easier to see.
Yeah.
So there's the portrait there for the Batman and Bruce Wayne. Another look there again. Really wish they had gone with that white background.
Yeah.
We also have the actual Bruce Wayne solo figure, and this was, in my opinion, the weakest part of the first solicitation, other than the cape. So they've improved this portrait, and I'll cycle back so you guys can give your thoughts on that. Again, here on the black background. And then this photo I think is kind of annoying because we're supposed to get an idea of the cape length, but they have it on a black corduroy table with the black background, and so you really can't really make anything out. So
and the face is all darkened up too, so you can't really see the cowl.
Yeah, this was a fail.
Yeah, what do we think about this?
I don't have the eye for it, but I don't really see what's all that different. Maybe say for like the neck seems a little thinner, but like they look pretty much identical to me. Am I crazy?
Yeah, no, you're not crazy. The face, the jawline looks skinnier.
Yeah.
It could be the angle though.
It's also Dean,
what Zach
you're
said.
It's like the photos aren't the same angle and they're not on the same background, so it's really hard to tell what's going on here.
This was a fail.
Yeah. I mean, they still look good. It's not like they look worse, but they also don't look better. They just look, it's like, okay, like that's kind of what I was expecting. So it's not like bad, but it's also not like, oh shit, okay.
You know what they should have done, kind of like Hot Toys does, where they should have just had some really high quality shots of the full figure, maybe some close-ups. Don't show the before. Let us like put them side by side, but just show like, hey, this figure's coming out beautifully. We made some updates. Here you go. It's better than ever. Because as you put them side by side, like you're right, whether you think it's better or worse or about the same, it's just like hard to necessarily tell because it's just a funky system that they're using.
This photo specifically, though, made me feel like it was worse. When I pulled it up on my phone, of course, I'm working on looking at Hot Toys and Inart, but my gut
Were you in
feel
bed
was,
when you looked at it first, or?
Thankfully, not that particular time, which was probably why I wasn't so excited. But I thought it felt like a downgrade, like 5 to 10%, nothing crazy. But I agree with you boys. I think if they'd made the identical photo, similar lighting conditions, we could have at least known a little bit better. I don't like the feeling of not knowing. I think that's the tricky, tough nut to swallow, because it's at this point, do I feel good about the purchase I've already made? Like, I've already spent the money to lock one of these in. If it's going to go lower quality, like, that sucks. I know that we sometimes expect that with Hot Toys, and so justification would say that we should expect the same here, but I would say that with the Joker, we didn't lose much of the quality there. I don't want to see some of the other releases taking a bit of a hit, if I can say. So, I don't know. It's hard to know 100%, but I do feel like it is a bit of a downgrade from what I'm seeing.
I wouldn't say it's a downgrade. I think it does look a little bit better, but I mean, I'm not going to pick this figure up. I have the Hot Toys one on pre-order because I don't ever see myself posing him without the mask. And I mean, I don't really want to pay for a doll with real hair. I don't know. I don't think there's that much of a difference between the cowl, version of Inart and Hot Toys. At least not right now. Like, I guess once we get them in hand, you can see both of them. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, eventually, I think Inart's gonna spank Hot Toys, and maybe even run them out of business, and then maybe those older figures that they made will become more, valuable. But yeah, I mean, I think it is kind of hard to tell because right here, like they're not the way Zach said, they're not the same angle, so it's kind of hard to tell. But I mean, I think both of them look great. I guess the right one would look a little bit better, but that's just me. But yeah.
You do make a good point though, Manny, because I purposely got the sculpted hair version of this figure because I pretty much never intend to have a display with the head. It's always going to have the cowl on, maybe holding the head in a morbid way at Halloween or something. But yeah.
See, I think one of the strengths of this figure though is the suit overall. I think the suit has potential to look more realistic than Hot Toys. I don't think we have enough data yet, but this picture did nothing to excite me. I'm like, is it maybe worse than what we've seen before? It's so damn dark, I can't fucking tell.
How dark has it been? Yeah. I completely agree with all of you guys. I think, and it goes back to what Marco said since the beginning, and what John says also. It's like you got to control the messaging. You have to, inform us the right way. I think Marco, you were 100% correct. I think if they just showed us, the updates, we can infer all this on our own. The way that they've done it, I don't think is particularly good. Though I will say I do think that this portrait here, I think, is much improved. I don't think anyone really liked it on the first go around. So
I think
there's that.
A video could have been better. Like you couldn't.
Yeah,
too much
100%.
to ask.
Very
I don't
true.
know.
Very true.
100%. Let's get into the Hot Toys news, the new Hot Toys news. Daredevil from She-Hulk. This one's April to September 2024 for $270. Bob Dylan with a super chat. Great discussion, sending hugs and kisses at John, a.k.a. Triple C, the curmudgeonous Canadian collector. You love to see it.
Love you, Bob.
There you go. This is from the She-Hulk Attorney at Law show. I will be 100% honest. The original Daredevil figure has always been a grail for me. I missed it on BST twice. I want to say the most recent time, I think Fern was selling it, and I missed his message in one of our chats, and then he had sold it pretty quickly. It was a loose figure, and I've always wanted this figure. I haven't seen She-Hulk the show, so I don't know how much he's in it, or if this is even worth buying, because this might be a one-off appearance costume. But yeah, I've always wanted this figure, and I'm glad that collectors are going to have a second crack at the character. The portrait I think looks pretty good. Maybe a little less good in these photos here. But
well, he's blind, so.
Well, I have to look at him. So there's that. But yeah, I mean, I think overall, I think this is good. 270 seems to kind of be that introductory price point for Hot Toys, and I think at this, there's nothing really special about it, but there's nothing that really sticks out to me as not being particularly good.
Yeah, I mean, 270 and you get 2 head sculpts. That's pretty good. I mean, considering we've gotten. Well, I mean, Bo-Katan was what, 290, and there have certainly been cheaper figures, but they also don't have 2 head sculpts, like say like a Clone Troop or something. So it's not the worst price figure. For me, Daredevil, I never liked this color scheme of Daredevil. I know a lot of people do like it. So it's cool. It's unique. It's its own kind of thing. So, yeah, I'm kind of with Zach on like, are we going to see this suit again? Is this a one-off, one episode kind of thing? Like, it's hard for me to get excited about it, but, yeah, it's cool. I don't hate it.
Yeah, I think this is a nice figure. I think overall the suit looks good. I know he didn't show up too long in She-Hulk in the suit, but Daredevil Born Again is going to be popping by 2024. It's slated for. So will he don this suit again? That'll be the $1 million question. This is coming out April to September 2024. So maybe worth hanging on to and not pre-ordering necessarily right away, unless it's a die-hard, like you missed the first one and you really need this in the collection. Because the portrait with the glasses does look good. I think it's when you take the glasses off, there could be something's off about it a bit. But I think it's a good-looking figure. I'd love to get a Matt in his lawyer suit with his walking stick licensed. I think that'd be really nice to see if they can do that. but I wouldn't hold my breath. But if you're interested in this, $270, I'd wait out. Could hit a bargain bin. You could see the suit again, and the popularity just pop. So, but then again, they'll just do a reissue.
I'm pretty excited for this. I love Daredevil. I love him in the show. I think the sculpt is shrink ray. That's just my opinion, especially with the glasses, because without the glasses, he has that blind stare. Like when I don't have my glasses, that's the way I'm all lost in my room. I don't even know where's.
Jesus.
No, but the only thing that kind of sucks, and I don't know, maybe I'm missing it, but he doesn't come with any mouth plates to change his expression when he's with the mask. That's what kind of stinks.
Oh, that is true.
Yeah, but I think the
good
price
point,
point is
Manny.
good. But I'm 100% getting this. Super excited. I dig the colors too. I know a lot of people don't, but I dig it.
Yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I actually liked his appearance in She-Hulk. This series overall was pretty damn goofy, but he came in and had some fun moments. I don't know that I necessarily love the suit in the show, but as a figure, like, it translates pretty well. I have the Netflix version, so I didn't necessarily need this, but I love that they added the sculpt. Now, if they wanted to charge us like $300 or $315 for the addition of the sculpt, I would have been out. But at $270, I think that's kind of the sweet spot for me. I do think, like others said, it is a bargain bin contender because Marvel, is kind of tanking right now. So, it's hard to invest in something for the end of next year because we don't even know where the MCU will be at that time. But yeah, really, really happy overall. I think the head sculpt looks really great too. I hope that they give us the option to take the glasses off, though. I haven't seen confirmation one way or the other. But yeah, I hope, because I do like the way that it looks without the glasses. And shout out to Justin, someone who I really respect and like, but someone in the comments said this looks just like Justin's collection, and I can't unsee it now. So yeah, too much.
Is this the confirmation of the glasses, or what do you mean?
Oh, am I saying that if it's confirmation that you can take the glasses off?
I'm pretty sure you can take the glasses off.
I think so, but it doesn't show. Yeah, no pictures in the solicitation show that you could take the glasses off. So
well, they wouldn't package.
I think it's probably I think it's a licensing thing, though. I don't think they can show it in the production.
Got it.
They wouldn't.
That makes sense.
They wouldn't.
I think out of respect for
Sorry,
John.
No problem. I'm just saying they wouldn't package the glasses on the portrait like that in the packaging. I don't think.
Yeah, makes sense. Honestly, that they'd be two separate pieces, because I think this looks great with the glasses off as well. I know others are not as thrilled, but this is how I'd probably want to display it with the glasses in hand.
There you go. Hopefully we'll be getting Ben Thomas back here in a second. Mike was having some issues. The Present Toys Blade 210 releasing Q3. Actually, oh, hang on. Getting a little echo there. The Blade Warrior by Present Toys. This one's 210 releasing Q3 to Q4 2023. I would say, objectively, I think the portrait's much better on these photos than what we saw.
You said it was 210?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good. I saw it higher somewhere else, so.
Double check that for me on 1/6 Kid if you don't mind. Yeah, I could have sworn that's what I saw it at. 210 Q3 to Q4 2023. I think the portrait looks better than what we saw last week. I think the accessories look great. I think the jacket looks great. I definitely, in a way, I can't unsee the David Robinson thing, but I definitely do think this is Wesley Snipes. I think this looks awesome, and I've owned, I want to say like 2 or 3, maybe even 4 Present Toys figures over the years.
Yeah, 210.
And thank you. And I think that they're up there with, one of the best companies for third party. I think they're Indiana Jones, the original, then the reissue. Honestly, goes up there as probably one of the better third party figures of all time. I really enjoy their Godfather figure. They've made some good stuff. So. I think this has a lot of potential. I want to say the jacket they've said is going to be leather. So this figure has a lot going for it, and the price point, is not a bad price point. What do you think about it, Dean?
Yeah, it's cool. Present Toys makes some great stuff, so I have no doubt this will be pretty cool. I'm still not buying Wesley Snipes on the sculpt. I don't see it at all.
Really?
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit. But I mean, if you just wanted like a generic Blade on your shelf, I think it's perfect. I don't think it has to be Wesley Snipes, right? Like the character existed before Wesley Snipes, so I think it's fine if you just have generic face Blade. So yeah, I like it. I think it's going to be cool.
Yeah, if you're after, it's not that bad. I think this is, look, it's more affordable option than the Hot Toys one that's out. Is the Hot Toys one better portrait wise? I think so. I think it's a stronger portrait. This being real leather coat of that size for $210, that's hard to believe. If they're saying it, I guess we have to believe it, but that is hard to believe at that price point. But like Dean said, if you just want a representation of Blade and don't want to pay the $500 to $700 that the Hot Toys one is commanding, I think this is a good option.
I was trying to find like a tax joke in there somewhere, but I couldn't come up with anything off the top of my head.
We think alike.
Yeah. I with the glasses, I think it's pretty good. I'm not a huge Blade fan, but I'd probably consider bringing this into my collection once like we see the final product. But I think it looks cool. I like the red, the inside of the coat, the way it's red and stuff. I think it looks pretty cool. And yes, David Robinson vibes.
Yeah, for me, third-party figures are tricky because unless the sculpt is like transcendent and it looks just like the character, I get at the price point like $210, that's pretty decent for genuine leather. But a lot of the times, like I don't know that they're going to necessarily match with my Hot Toys, so I kind of shy away. Stuff that's like more speaks to me more is like that Uncharted Nathan Drake, like that is perfect because it's not really going for realism, so that they can they got a little more room for error. All that being said, like I kind of see Wesley Snipes in here, but it's just not close enough to really lure me in. And it's also not a property that I'm really have an attachment to. So overall, I think it looks okay, but yeah, just something that's an absolute easy pass. How about you, Ben?
I know Dean's not going to like this take because last week I heard him say that he doesn't like vampires because they're just high society and they're boring and all the.
They're douchebags.
I was on the road. I was like, Dean, you're breaking my heart, man. I love Blade. I love the Wesley Snipes version of Blade. However, this is one of those figures that I'm not totally convinced Hot Toys would make again, especially with the Mahershala Ali version kind of coming hopefully soon. Like I know it was delayed for a while there, but I think that's going to be a really badass representation of the character. And I wouldn't be surprised if Hot Toys ended up making that one. Unless Wesley Snipes randomly makes a cameo somehow, in the back. I don't know. I don't see them making it again. So I think this might be the opportunity to have the character in your collection if you've been wanting one. I disagree with John. I do think this is a better face sculpt than the previous Hot Toys version. But that one is pretty old now too. So I mean, like, you gotta give it some credit where credit is due. It held the reins for a pretty long time. I think with the leather, I think with the weapons that you get here, especially with the glasses on, it is a good offering. It would have been cool to have a sculpt that showed his fangs, potentially his injection needle where he gets where he shoots his blood from, so he doesn't have to drink human blood. I think that would have been kind of a cool accessory, but I still think it's okay for the price. Would I have been more tempted to buy it immediately if it was slightly lower in price? 100% yes. But because I've got so many things coming that I'm excited for, this one is still pretty low on the buy list, even though I think it's pretty cool. So happy
on the Mahershala front, though, can anyone confirm? I think the rumors that it's set in like the 1920s, right? So if it's a period piece, actually, then we probably won't get this full on, black leather. So it could be a very different look from the Wesley Snipes. Would be the only word of caution.
Not good years there. Deflex1 says the pleather jacket is going to flake. Just to clarify, I misspoke earlier. The jacket and the pants, those are made of genuine leather. So perhaps slightly more durable than pleather. My apologies. So this is pretty cool, Dean. I know you're very excited about this. Virtual Toys, they're doing Elden Ring, Raging Wolf, and pronounce the other one for me, please.
Blythe. It looks like Blade, but it's pronounced Blythe.
Okay, well, I'm glad I didn't give that a go. Because I would have mispronounced that. So, virtual
Gerald.
toys. Yeah, Geralt.
Geralt.
Yeah. Now these are unlicensed, if I'm not
Correct.
mistaken. Okay.
Yeah. So Virtual Toys makes unlicensed stuff, but they make pretty damn good unlicensed stuff.
What else have they done, Dean?
They did
the Cloud. VTS.
They did the Final Fantasy 7 ones. Those honestly aren't super great, but I own them. They did the Starship Troopers. Awesome figures.
Okay, yeah.
They've done what's he called? Ghost of Tsushima. I forget the character's name.
I like it with some soy sauce.
I knew he was.
God bless you.
That seems racial. That's a really expensive figure now. They did. They're doing Kenshin.
Jin
from the
Sakai
movies.
is his name.
Jin
right?
Sakai. Thank you. So to see these coming down the pipeline, I'm so excited. Blythe, especially. In fact, I'm holding it right now. He uses the Royal Greatsword. It's my absolute favorite sword in the game. I bought a little mini replica. Of
I
it.
was like, wow.
That's huge. What scale is that? This is massive.
This is. I guess this is
I
12 scale because that's a massive
There's
sword.
some jokes there.
But Blythe himself is like 12 feet tall. So I don't know if this is going to be like actual in scale.
Dean, can you hold it up one more time?
What, the sword?
Jesus, that thing is huge, bro.
Huge, bro.
Massive.
Yeah.
Can't even imagine wielding something of that size.
Yeah, probably too much sword even at this scale. I mean, yeah, so I'm really excited. Blythe is such a wonderful character in that game. And if you know anything about Souls games, everyone has really fucking tragic endings. So I just really liked Blythe. His character kind of spoke to me a little bit, but
For
I'm
the
so excited
uninitiated,
for this.
Dean, this is Blythe or this is Blythe?
That one with the
Okay.
wolf head. Yeah, he's like a big wolf.
Oh, I
man.
see.
Yeah.
I see.
The other one, the Raging Wolf set, that's just an armor set. That's not a like specific character. So
I know nothing about this. You're talking to a
This
a
game is
novice.
insane. This is making me want to. You
you
pick
play
up
it,
Elden
Marco.
Ring
I didn't
again.
know.
Yeah, I know it's
Wow.
been some
Wow.
time, but
Shit
it's
talk
always
right
like
there.
Dean's like,
Look
go
at
talk
that.
to
See
that
it.
mutated chick with like 8 foreheads.
I heard another guy that
She's a
oh my
baddie.
god, Ben
It's
and
always something
Marco,
crazy.
Ben and Marco are gonna like this. There's like a thing that there's like enemies that turn into other enemies after you kill them. And there's like a guy on a hill, and I'm like, hey, go kill that guy real quick. And he turns into this giant bear that just ruins your day. I got my friend Corey with it the other day.
Fucked
And
me up.
I was laughing so hard. I recorded it. I'll have to send it to you guys because I got them both with it. Anyway, Elden Ring's fantastic. So
Sorry, Dean. The worst part of that, by the way, was that I had my full trust in you. That was like my first That was like my first day. I'm trying to survive. Okay, I'm picking up Erd leaves all over the place. I don't know why. I'm like trying to read these books. I have no idea why. And you're like, go talk to that guy. I'm like, okay, for sure. And then he turns into a bear and tries to kill me.
yeah, it was amazing.
Is
Trust-
this like a side?
trust
Is this
is
like a
just
side
broken.
quest or?
It's
he's
not
just
even a
walking
side
along a
quest.
path.
It's just a guy.
Just a
that's-
dude.
Yeah,
And he
it's
looks
just-
the same all the time. Like you're like you can know that that's the dude that will.
Yeah, it's just like
Okay.
like a normal bad guy.
That's hilarious.
It's really funny, but these games, all the Souls games, are like, it's crazy because they have these huge cult followings, and hardly anyone ever makes figures for them. So I'm really excited. Elden Ring, Game of the Year, it sold like 15 million copies. That people are starting to like, make figures for these things. So I'm really excited. So when these popped up, I was like, no way, because I love Blythe. He's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome,
Look at
buddy.
that. Look at that. Let's get into released just quickly. Shang-Chi released.
Bless you.
Yeah, it released. That's all I have to say about that. I mean,
wait.
I don't know. It looks
It looks really good.
I thought you were gonna skip to the next slide. I'm like, you better not just skip ahead.
I
Come
didn't.
on.
Whose show is this? What the hell?
Is the size of his head massive, or is it just me?
Okay. I'm glad
I think
you
it might
said
be
something.
the actor. I think he's got a big ass head.
He
a
does,
little
but
bit.
not this big, I don't think.
Ben Affleck got a big ass head.
Simu
too.
Liu.
Hey Arnold.
Jesus Christ. I don't know. It doesn't look great.
It came out 2 years ago. How long? When did this movie come out?
Yeah,
Last
about
year.
2 years ago.
Who gives a shit? Move on. The next figure. Like,
We're just about to see his next outfit
it's
too.
been
That's
Can
the
you
thing
imagine?
about these delays.
I feel like there's no kind of loss between the prototype and this one. I think it looks
I
fantastic.
disagree, Dean. I think that
Really?
I don't think this looks. It
the
looks
proto
cheap,
looks
bro.
crazy.
Looks
The
great.
proto
This
looks
looks
crazy.
like exactly. This looks like Marvel Legends, with a really nice portrait. Like how, like Manny has that really. I mean, it looks like a great figure. The Batman, right? Like it's like the portrait is one standard.
Please don't
and the
insult
head...
my figures, bro. I didn't come
No,
on
I'm not
here to be
insulting your
made fun
figure.
of.
How dare you? I'm not insulting your figures. I'm just saying you could tell they're made by two different people.
But let's say this.
I like that. I actually do like that figure.
It could be poor
Oh, you're
photography
talking about the other one.
because the photo on the right, the portrait looks really good on the photo on the right with the flame effect.
I don't know, man. He looks like he's. I don't know.
The original solicitation photos were just shot so beautifully.
Yeah.
I just put the link in the chat as well. Like it's like they kind of set the standard where
We'll pull them up.
if I don't know, it's just not translating for me.
I think it's the
ordering at a Subway.
photography.
Maybe I need to see the first ones again because like, it doesn't look
Okay,
that bad.
okay. Just look at. Okay, the thing I want you to pay attention to is one. They did no favors to this thing by exposing that joint dirty like that, and then two. Look at how cheap like the red looks on the outfit.
Looks like
I guess
they burnt the Thriller jacket to make it.
Jesus Christ. Looks like the Pepsi commercial shoot. My goodness. Look at how much better this looks. Okay, the elbows do look bad there.
I
don't know, dude.
It looks exactly the same.
Yeah,
bro.
I think it's I think it's the lighting of the other picture.
Yeah.
It looks
I agree.
exactly the same, bro.
I agree.
I think it looks
I don't like
pretty
it.
good, dude.
I don't like it.
I think it's because
I'm
you're
gonna-
sick.
It could be.
Honestly,
I've got enough
it
fluids
feels
in
like
me.
there's been some detail that's been lost though because these
corneas
shots
are
are
weak.
just so
Yeah, but you're
beautiful.
talking about like super highly like edited photos and lighting.
But
edits
they
and
put
stuff.
out both photos though, right? The blogger photos they control as well though, so make sure that those match up as much with the solicitation photos. I would think.
The photo on the right looks great. The portrait there looks great. Not the outfit, but let's say that just the portrait looks great on the right.
That flame effect looks pretty badass too. I'm not gonna lie.
I will say the flame effect does look good.
I'm gonna watch this tonight.
Have you guys
I feel
not
like there's
seen?
there's
have you
meme
seen it?
potential here.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay.
I haven't seen it. You could have spoiled
Yeah.
it for me though. I don't.
You
care.
got, no, I probably spoiled it for you by accident in the background.
Bro, honestly, one of the coolest bad guys in all of Marvel.
Sounded dirtier than I intended, by the way.
Nasty, Ben. Nasty.
You know, real quick, I think the sound design of this film is amazing. Like when the rings are like hitting each other and they're coming back, that sounds so crisp.
We talking about the sound design or a figure? I'm confused here.
All
my
right,
God,
all right,
Jesus,
dude.
what
Let's
a
get the hell.
sound.
Let's get him out of here.
I
I hope your knee
yeah,
buckles, Vince.
Oh, she's borrowing his jacket too.
Oh
this
my
is
god.
fucking terrible. This is
Bro.
the Damn Toys Claire. We've talked a lot about Damn Toys today. I think more than we ever have. I don't know
Unfortunately,
what even happened. So the left is the release and the right is the solicitation photo.
she put on 30 pounds.
I don't
It's
know.
all that jacket, bro. It's not
Well,
even
it's that
tailored
tiny
properly.
ass head, bro.
Yeah, do they shrink her head like an
Looks like
insane amount?
Beetlejuice's head.
No, I think honestly, like the scale of the jacket is just so wrong that it makes her head look small. But if you look at her head, like in proportion to her waist, it's fine. But the jacket is so poofy, like it's not even tailored properly around her arms. It's supposed to go like a quarter sleeve, but for some reason they made it a full
Oh
sleeve.
god, I didn't even notice that. Yeah.
Like it's just not tailored well. And I will say the only saving grace for this figure, because like the sculpt is fine. I think the lighting is a little harsh here, but like that looks like Claire. It looks, basically like the same sculpt. I think just the lighting is really bad. About 3/4 of the way through the game, she loses the jacket. She gives it away. So like you could take this jacket off and have a perfectly fine Claire on your shelf.
But the joints are really ugly.
But for the price of these fucking things,
$304.99.
absolutely not. This is so bad. Unacceptable, bro. It's not good. And I think it's all the jacket.
I
correct me if I'm
disagree. I don't think that the portrait is like at all good.
This feels like they fumbled the bag big time. Dean, correct me if I'm wrong. If this was like 280 and it looks like the prototype, you'd probably consider getting this, right? Because I know I would.
Yeah. 280 is still a
prototype,
little high.
for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Let's say 250, right? And it looks like the prototype. Probably like a no-brainer.
Because like even the Leon's really good. I think they also did Ada, and she's okay. Ada just doesn't come with a ton of stuff, but like Claire's a huge part of the game. Like you can't really have Leon without Claire, so this is like a huge slap in the face.
I never seen
It's
$600
made by Hot Toys.
Oh man.
I kind of wish Hot Toys did it instead of fucking.
Oh, you'd get an even big slap. It's a bigger slap, man. Go on.
Yeah.
I'll go and read this. So if you're looking for Black Series, Marvel Legends, or other collectibles, come down to Rainer's Rarities and Collectibles. They buy collections and love to talk all things geek and nerdy. Rainer's Rarities is located at Traders Village, San Antonio at stall 1309. Their grand opening is March 4th and will feature 10% off for military, first responders, teachers, and collecting weekly listeners. Be sure to check them out again. San Antonio Traders Village, stall 1309. So we'll skip these. We'll get back to those later. Our main bit of discussion for today: magnets, licensing, FOMO, and some other things. So there's been a lot of talk in our circle about magnets this week. Now, I saw this post on Reddit. I wasn't able to find this post on Facebook. I think, Ben, you said this may have been in Six Scale Network, that Facebook group. I don't think I'm a member of that group.
No. Even there, it was unfortunately reposted, I believe. It's been reposted and reposted. So I don't have
It's
the
almost
original
like an
credit,
urban legend at this point.
Yeah.
No, that's totally fine, but I appreciate you finding it for me nonetheless. Now, we know some collectors that have had issues with the Inart Joker and the magnets, some stability issues. A fellow peer of ours, Man of High Collectibles, put up a video in which he's kind of showing some of the issues that he's experienced, some of the things that he's noticed. I will say he's probably handling that figure much less accurately than I think most people would be handling their $500 to $1,000 figure. But at any rate, I think it was he did bring up some valid concerns. But I'm curious for you guys on the panel and for the chat as well. There's this concept, the price of progress, right? In order to gain in any sort of field, right, in this case collecting, you take risks, and sometimes they work really well, sometimes they might not work as well. In this case, traditionally, I think as long as I've been collecting, the sort of standard of collectible stands have been waist grabbers, crotch grabbers, and the like. There's been a number of figures. There's been a number of figures in the past that have used magnets. The John Lennon from Molecule 8, some of the caustic plastic stuff, and it seems like with this one,
Take a bow.
I'm so confused about what's going on in the private chat. It seems like in this one, there is some cost to this price of progress, right? So there are some issues with some people having the magnets failing for the wrist. They're sort of falling out of the wrist. There's a portion of the base that is magnetic, and there's people that are experiencing issues with the figure leaning or falling. I know Will, I would consider him to be, a collector that kind of understands how to pose. He had his figure fall. I would say in general, I think the average collector that uses DTOFs will experience some shaking through opening and closing the doors. At least on both of mine, the magnets are quite strong. So whenever I open and close it, the whole cabinet does shake just a little bit. But I'm curious, do you think that this, the issues that we're having, do you think they're significant? Do you think that those issues are worth it for the price of progress, for us to eventually move away from these crotch grabbers and these waist grabbers, which aesthetically might not be the best looking? In some cases, they can actually damage the figures. I'll let you guys go through your talking points, and then we have a nice little graphic here that Sean Yutzi made for us that we can learn some science about it.
Yeah, I think 9 times out of 10, it's don't use the crotch grabber. It's going to damage the suit. It's going to pinch the suit. It's going to ruin the fabric. Very rarely is there an instance where even I'm comfortable using the crotch grabber? Say on the, let's just say it's like Bo-Katan, where she's got cloth pants, no real armor to get in the way. But even like something like a stormtrooper, there's a lot of thigh armor and crotch armor, and you don't want to scratch that up and ding it. So even then, it's kind of like, I don't know if I should use them. That being said, the magnets, I think there's going to be some growing pains in learning how these things get better, and you know, trial and error. It's like, okay, that didn't work. Does that suck? Sure. But, you know, you're not going to know unless you try. So
Yeah.
I think it's mildly annoying. I think there's worse fucking things on the planet. But yeah, I think it's a necessary evil that, you know, some shit like this is bound to happen.
I personally think it's some communication errors that on Inart's part they could have been a little bit better in communicating as to how the base works, because I think a lot of people are confused. Personally, I think the whole entire base should be magnetic, the same amount of force equally throughout the entire base.
Completely agree.
Because it's only in certain spots. You look at that Joker that toppled forward. If you line up the feet back straight, it doesn't look like the foot is totally on the spot that's magnetic. That could be the issue. So buying this Joker, a lot of people still haven't gotten the rooted hair version. Know that you're buying this to put him in a museum pose from the waist down, I think. If you're expecting to do some intricate poses with this magnetic base, it won't happen because they didn't go ahead and magnetize the entire base. Some people, you know, for me, it's going to be kind of set it and forget it sort of concept. Other people like to play around with the figures. Maybe Inart's not the route that they should go down. Some of the content creators I've been seeing, yeah, you know, it's good to put the figure through like a little bit of an obstacle course and test it. But Jesus Christ, to shake the figure like it's going to go into a tumble dry in a dryer, a little much. Like, come on, let's be realistic, guys. Like, is there any more fun in this hobby, or are we just all losing our minds and trying to put out content to get views? Like, let's enjoy this bloody hobby a little bit. There's just the other thing is what I think is completely unacceptable that I saw has happen. The magnets loosening because of the glue. That's bullshit. That right there needs to be. If that's what's happening, then yeah, I wouldn't be touching this figure with a 10-foot pole until they start fixing, changing the glue or whatever the issue is. Because if that glue is becoming loose,
it's tough, John, because glue is like not good for magnets. Like, you could use like the best glue, epoxy, you know, Gorilla Glue, whatever. But I think over time, like originally I would always chop it up to like, oh, Hot Toys is using bad glue. And no, I've in model making, like even sanding both surfaces, like giving it the best chance to bond.
Yeah.
I just think it's just the way that the forces are pulling on that super glue, or you know, whatever glue they're using. The best way that you can get two magnets together is almost like with putty, basically, you know, kind of forming it around the magnet so that it's held in both in front of the magnet and to the side. You lose some strength doing that, but yeah, it's really tough. Or like the way that statues have it, where the magnet's inset and the glue might be surrounding it and beneath it, where the magnet's flush at the end.
Yeah,
that also works. Just point out Jeff's comment here. The 1/6 Bela Lugosi Dracula uses magnetic base too. I've had mine set up since October and it hasn't moved an inch. And I think, you know, the base and the shoe points, those will be really solid because there is material beneath, between the magnets, right? So the magnet's not going to pop out. But those are really weak points and really hard to really get down. Even Hot Toys struggles with it, with, you know, the magnets in the hands. With Hot Toys specifically, the holsters of figures, those magnets typically fail pretty quickly. So yeah, it's a weird thing because you go Velcro and then the Velcro wears out, or you go magnets and then the glue fails. So it's tough.
I don't have him in hand yet, but I can't imagine if you're placing him in the strongest part of the base with that magnet in a museum pose, and you're not really touching it. And I get it, you're spending a lot of money, but you know, this is the way I looked at this and envisioned purchasing it. This was going to be museum-esque. Maybe could they have done a separate base with some sort of crotch grabber, not like Hot Toys done, but like Enterbay has done, where it can wrap around the leg for people who want to do dynamic poses. Can they have just thrown that in? Sure. But I think this is Inart kind of taking the Queen Studios concept of that Joker, putting some points of articulation into the figure, but it's to get that museum look. I think some of the points out there where people are mentioning issues that they've had, are valid, and it's good to watch those kind of videos. But I think there's a lot as well on the same level, shit disturbing. But that's just me.
It's cool because I think you could take some good from this because it's their first figure and they can only improve. Like with their next figure that's coming out, they can say, okay, well, it's tipping on some, so let's go ahead and adjust the base. And like you said, John, that the whole base should have been magnetic, which is, I mean, why not? So hopefully with their other releases or with other Jokers down the line, if they fix them or whatever, hopefully they include those magnets. But I mean, I don't think it's a deal breaker because the figure looks phenomenal. And if you can just, get yourself a cheap little base or something, I think it'll still look great on the shelf.
I'm with Manny in that, we knew this is their first figure. There's going to be some, lumps along the path there. So not everything was going to come out perfect. Now we know the jail cell bars also, I know Joao said, it's kind of bending. The wood wasn't strong enough. I'm not shocked that there are issues, and I'm sure we'll continue to hear about stuff as time goes on. It's, as I like to say, a tough nut to swallow on an $1,100 figure. But, it's, again, you kind of have to know what you're getting into as an early adopter. It'd be the same thing with any type of technology. But I'm glad that they're pushing the limits, and I'm hoping that, they'll continue, like Manny said, to learn from, any mistakes that this figure may have. I don't necessarily, I don't use any crotch grabbers at all. So I've, learned by trial and error, just sometimes figures tip over. So this was kind of a non-story to me overall, because whether you're using magnets or just putting a figure on its feet normally, you're kind of taking a risk. And so I think that's the way it looks best, is without a crotch grabber. So I'm happy with the choices they've made. I'd say I just am most kind of concerned about the die-cast weapons being too heavy for the magnets and the hands falling off. That's something that maybe would irritate me, but everything else that I've heard is kind of, I guess, to be expected. How about you, Ben?
Yeah, I think you make some really good points, because I'm the same way. I mean, all the figures that I have down here with me, none of them have a figure stand. Now, obviously, I don't live in an area of the world that gets earthquakes and stuff like that, or just loud family members going through the house like crazy. Like, I get it, things can happen, but I do still like the fact that they gave us magnets in the feet, because if you want to have a cleaner looking display, you could do something like I've seen with Modjigashas, for example, where there's like a felt bottom. You could put a whole strip of magnets down below if you wanted to, just to give it something a little extra to hang on to if you didn't want to use the base that it comes with. The other thing, I haven't watched many of the reviews on the figure purposely, because I want to have really like my own feel for it, but I'd be curious if you could take that base apart and just add more magnets inside it as well, like do a little bit of a DIY project. Like, maybe, it's hard to say. At the end of the day, I like magnets more than the stick tack that I use now. I think if you're just being, slow and meticulous and really pose your figure well, make sure he's got a good hold on the ground. There's no like subtle tilts to the ankles or to the knees that may kind of throw him out of position. You're probably going to be okay for the most part. I'm hoping that these situations that we've seen are mostly one-offs. But at the same time, like you guys said already, it's the first figure they've done. They seem like the company that may or may not listen. I think that they will listen to stuff like this, and I'm sure we'll see improvements down the line. So it's definitely not a deal breaker for me. I'm still really excited to get the guy in my collection, for sure.
Definitely. I think it's good to get your butt kicked sometimes. I think you learn, they can go forward, with some gained experience, and, hopefully it's not too late to apply what they've learned to other figures. So like I said, Yutzi made us this nice little graphic. Appreciate that. So in this graphic, the green arrow is the magnet force, the red arrow is the figure weight, and the orange arrow is the reaction force. So typically, everything's in alignment. You have the center of gravity right above where the magnets are. The weight is reacted by the shoes, and the magnet helps solidify this. You can turn the figure upside down as long as the magnet force is greater than the weight. So we've seen a lot of pictures of people doing that, and that's pretty normal. So a lot of times, some of the photos that we're seeing, these figures are leaning. Essentially, they'll behave normal if the moment torque caused by the shifting of the weight forward doesn't exceed the force balance of the shoe. If you notice, the reaction on the back of the foot is much smaller than the front now. Again, the front of the magnet is now bearing most of that load, and the shoes will stick, but the figure may still lean all the way forward to the limit of the ankle joints. Look at us doing science here. And then if you tilt forward with a gap on the rigid ankle, so if you get to that point where it can no longer articulate, then the magnets can fail. The back of the foot reaction force goes to 0, and the toe reacts to all of the weight minus the magnet force. The magnet force drops by the inverse square law, so if you move the magnets 2 times the distance apart, the force will be 4 times less. Because the magnet force is so much slower, it can react to the moment torque caused by the shifting of the center of gravity forward, and the figure will fall off the base. So
pretty sure I failed this class in school.
A lot of physics, a lot of science. You come here for the science, boys.
And I'm leaving the class knowing the same I did when I walked in.
You do. I like the comment from 160's Nuts.
100%. I agree with you.
What?
I like the comment from 160's Nuts saying Hot Toys has been destroying figures with flight stand clamps for years and will be okay. It's kind of true. I mean, like those stands and the waist
You're
grabbers,
not wrong.
Spider-Man figures.
They're rough on figures.
But imagine this, Ben. You have your Inart Joker right there on your cabinet, and it takes a tumble, and it's just paint chipping, whatever, or you break the weapon. I mean, I would say the kind of collector that's going to have that damaged by a clamp is the same kind of collector that, and I don't mean this to sound like a dick, that might not know how to pose a figure and that's going to come home one day and their shit's going to be crumpled on the floor.
Then you shouldn't be buying that figure. That's not for you then.
You're probably not wrong, but I'm just saying. Yeah.
That's fair. I wouldn't want my figure to take a tumble.
Says Triad Toys did magnet feed and stands even back in 2010 to 12 time frame. I feel like companies that come into this and not learn from companies previous just shows that they did not do very good research.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Let's take this off. We'll go to FOMO here. So Ben had a great question. Ben, we'll start with you. What is one collectible you got because of FOMO, and do you still have it? I will cede to you, Ben.
For sure, I got the Batman Begins figure from the video game line series because I love the game, totally love it. I thought the figure looked badass. But when I brought him into my collection, I didn't realize, because I didn't do my homework, clearly, how much taller he was than my MMS lines. Like, significantly larger, especially than the Christian Bale, which is the only other Batman I had at the time, the DX12. Like, I think I shared a picture with you guys. Christian Bale's head comes up to the top of Batman Begins' shoulder. Like, it looked too weird for me. It looked like it was the wrong scale in my collection. But I was so focused on getting a Batman from that game at that time that I kind of just like breezed past my logic and like reasons for why I wanted it in my collection. I just want it. And people started saying it was going to go out of stock. It's going to be gone. It's going to be limited. Get it now while you can, because that's going to be it. And I pulled the trigger, had it in my collection for about 2 weeks, and I sold it, which was crazy. Now, I will say I almost made the same mistake today. I went into my local comic book store, and I was looking for General Zod because I've seen General Zod in the recent Flash trailers. And I knew he was at this comic store, and I purposely drove in like this crazy snowstorm we had today for whatever reason, all the way down to this comic book store, saw him on the shelf, saw that he was only $285 Canadian, which is like, I think probably $150 American. Pretty good pricing. Stood there for about a half an hour and left, because I was like, I didn't buy this figure before I saw him in the preview because I didn't want him necessarily then. I don't feel like I necessarily need him now. I'm just buying him because of the hype and the possible fear of missing out.
Damn, you should have gotten it though, Ben.
I didn't.
You got bamboozled though, Ben. Let's be honest.
Yeah, you think I should have got it for 150?
I think you should have for $150.
Which figure?
This is how FOMO exists,
Zod.
boys.
Zod?
Yeah.
What's the name of the shop,
Zod.
Ben? I'm gonna call him tomorrow. No, I'm
For 150?
No, it was
US.
No, sorry, it would have been 250. It was 285.
Zach, we need to send him a card.
So it was
ASAP.
would have been 250.
I can't see them
US.
redoing that figure.
Yeah, 100%.
He didn't sell
you played
well.
Yourself card.
You don't think so?
I can't see him redoing that. I'd
It's
be
a
shocked.
toss-up, honestly.
Congratulations, man.
The point is I don't think I actually need him. I don't think I actually
He didn't do well though,
necessarily need
Marco.
him.
I know they
Ben's
used
gonna
to
go sleep over tonight
Oh my
at the
God.
store.
Sideshow was throwing them in for free.
Bro,
right, with
185
certain purchases.
US is the conversion from 250 Canadian. So
It looks good in person, I will say.
250
It-
Canadian?
for an old. It was 280 Canadian.
No, I
so
wouldn't
it'd
pay
be
that then.
bro, okay,
Just
so
under
DJ
300
DJ says, "There you go, Ben. I'm proud. Don't listen to them, Ben. Doesn't matter if it's 150 or not. If you don't really want them, don't get
That's
them."
where I was at.
And you know, we're just busting your balls. I don't really care.
Are we?
Jason says
I'm not
Zod
gonna
is a
sleep
great
tonight.
figure. Seriously, in my top 5 of Hot Toys. Sean says I picked up Zod years ago for under 150. USB says Alita Battle Angel is his figure. For me, so I didn't actually follow through. Well, let me rewind. Okay, so Asmus put up the Gandalf the White, and it was in stock, available immediately, and I was like, "Holy shit, that's wild!" And so I ordered one. You know, whatever. I got it. I was like, "Damn, this figure is dope." But then it sold out on Asmus's website, or out of stock, I guess. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll get a second one if I want it on Sideshow. So I kind of was waiting for Sideshow. Maybe they have a coupon. Maybe I can rack up some rewards. And then it went to Blue Screen. And I know we're here all the time, and I'm like, don't believe the bullshit. Don't get bamboozled by Sideshow. And I've mentioned this on the show before. I got bamboozled by Sideshow. I was like, damn, it's on Blue Screen. You can only have it in your cart for like 2 minutes. And so I was like, I FOMO'd, and I panicked, bought a second one because I was like, this figure's so good. Either A, like I'll have a second one, backup to have down the line, or B, I can display multiple options with it. About a month later, I kind of came to my senses. It might have been 2 months later, and I canceled the order. But because it was late coming from Asmus, I got my deposit back, so I didn't lose out too much. But yeah, I definitely, and now it's not even on Blue Screen anymore. So it's like, I should have followed my own advice and not believed the Sideshow tomfoolery that they do there. Dean, what have you FOMO'd?
Yeah, this is. I've talked a lot before about game toys, so I'm gonna tell a different story. Zach pre-ordered a figure, and it was like in like some of the first episodes of Collecting Weekly, the Present Toys Hunter K.
Yes,
and
I love this story.
It took years.
It was like episode like
figure to
150 when the figure came in, and I pre-ordered like on episode 3 or something.
Yeah, it was wild.
And the dude would be like, "Sorry guys, I hurt my knee. The figure's late again." It's like, motherfucker, what? Like, how does this correlate?
He was constantly posting updates, which was like reassuring, but also like, come on, bro. And so I kind of just ignored the figure, and then it finally came out, and Zach got it in hands, and I was like, fuck, I need this figure bad. And luckily, Lord Greg, sweet Greg, he was like, you know what, dude, I have one. I've lost total interest in it. You can have it. I was like, sweet. So I bought it from him for retail, which was good because at the time it had shot through the roof. So I still have that figure in my collection. It's fucking phenomenal. And I believe they've reissued it. And I don't even think that's out yet. I think it's still waiting to be released, but
I think he hurt his other knee, so it might be a little bit longer.
yeah. But yeah, that's one figure where I was like, fuck, I can't miss this. So yeah. Present Toys Hunter K.
Damn, one that's... Oh, go ahead, John.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, one that sticks out for me, only because I'm not a huge Clone Wars fan, is the Ahsoka figure. Like, I got so caught up in that hype of everyone being excited. Like, it was a kind of a transcendent figure, right? Like, people that aren't even into Hot Toys were hyped about it. And I was like, I want to understand. Like, it's not one that I, like, immediately went out and pre-ordered. But eventually I ended up getting because I was like, I wanted to be a part of the hype. I'm not going to lie. And honestly, it's a nice figure. But I think that, the Mando version is probably, because, again, I'm not a huge Clone Wars person, the Mando version is a little bit more proper for my collection. That being said, I've got her next to the Clone Wars Anakin, and they look really nice together, but it's not one that, like, I have that love for, like, other figures in the collection.
You know what's really weird about Ahsoka, Marco? And I think that's why so many people were excited for that figure. When Ahsoka first popped up, everyone hated her. Unanimously, everyone was like, this character fucking sucks.
She sucks at the beginning.
She was super annoying at the beginning. But as you've watched the series and, consequently years of content, you really start to love this character. And she's got this huge following all on her own. So like you said, even people that aren't collecting Hot Toys were like, I need this figure. So yeah, that's like the hype was unreal for that figure. I thought she was going to sell out, so I pre-ordered her, which I never do. I think she's still available, so I guess they made enough. But yeah, I don't think you'll regret in the long term owning that figure.
I think you're right. I got her for a good deal. Like I got her for no shipping, no sales tax. So
nice.
It's a pretty low baseline. But I wish I had a Zod. No, I'm kidding, Ben. We're just busting your balls, bro. Totally busting your balls.
I'm literally going. I'm going back tomorrow. I'm going back tomorrow.
Someone spilled the
Gonna go in a snowstorm, and
gonna cut my credit card up tonight just so I can't be tempted.
What about you, John?
Honestly, I know we joke around with it, but the only thing I can think of recently was that Joker in the window.
Bro, you were so stressed. And the worst part was the window opened right back up. I felt so bad for you guys.
It was
I felt terrible.
That's the only thing where FOMO really hit.
John, for that Joker, I guess I've never asked. Are you planning to open it, or you're going to keep it in the box?
I'll open it, but it'll stay in the box for now.
Okay, got it. Because I
Just
feel
till
like
I
that's
get the
one that
spot.
just has to be experienced. Like when it comes, it's gonna be an experience.
I'll unbox everything and like
Put it
photograph
back.
it and do what I have to do, and then
Consummate professional.
when's that coming out? March, right?
People are getting their invoices here pretty soon, so
I'm seeing
rooted-
a lot of
for rooted hair?
sculpted double packs right now. Not many rooted,
Just a
double
few.
packs here in the States.
I almost feel guilty picking it up, to be honest.
why?
Because it's a third scale.
Wait, what?
What?
It's a third scale statue. 1,500 for me to get that in here.
Oh yeah, the cost that
It's
you.
a travesty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was like,
absolutely, man.
John, it's 1/6.
I was
Sorry,
concerned.
guys.
And also,
I'm gonna
John,
bring my
I was going
mic
to
over
say
here 'cause-
earlier,
Like that
There
one
you
post
go.
from earlier.
I was going to say earlier, like you've got that beautiful Bane and a lot of beautiful statues behind you. Like I'm sure it's hard for Hot Toys to stack up to something like that. Like that is next level stuff right there. So
Marco.
I could see that you're holding things to a different standard.
If I told you I paid less for that Bane than that Inart Joker,
That's crazy.
right?
That's insane. Yeah.
So you got to be smart at the same time. Yeah, beautiful release. Best Joker on the market, hands down. But, you got to be smart too. We'll see. I'm not saying anything. I'm going to see. Because, again, I am going down a Batman focus collection. So that is one I'd love to add.
Sorry, I have to bring my mic over here because my computer sounds like it's.
Jesus.
Oh, I'm sorry,
You
is it
were
loud?
running from someone.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that better?
Jesus Christ. What are you
Yeah,
doing?
better
Stop touching
there.
your mic.
No, but I do it. The computer sounds like it's gonna explode. Okay, I'll leave it there.
Yeah, my ears sound like they're going to explode. My goodness.
I'm so sorry about that.
My
Is this better?
extinction
Is this
fluid.
okay?
Yeah, we can't hear your computer at all.
I guess.
Oh,
Jeez.
I'm sorry.
Jesus.
I will not be returning next week. No, for me, it's two figures that come to mind, and they're both Chrome. The Chrome Clone Trooper. As soon as I saw that one with the Comic-Con pictures, I instantly pre-ordered that. And then for some reason I thought that the Chrome Mando was going to sell out like instantly, so I jumped on that also, and I do not regret either of those purchases. And they just happen to both be Chrome, so sorry about that, guys, about the loud.
okay.
Damn, you better be.
Eardrums.
somebody.
Let's do another one here. Transitioning to statues. So, John, this was a discussion topic that you brought up.
Yeah.
What will it take for you to transition into statues / buying your first statue? John, tell us what made you buy your first statue?
Mary Jane. Mary
Right,
Jane.
so I think that's Ben's answer too.
You were
So
high,
there's-
you were high or what?
I was gonna say.
that was good.
that was a great.
That was
great
amazing.
one.
It took me a second to register, but that was good. That was
That was
good.
great.
Okay. No, at the time it was
I'm
Hot
sorry,
Toys
Mark.
and statues. The statue called to me. But now this conversation more came to, one, for the community, people who are interested in the community in the panel who are transitioning from, and it doesn't have to be a full transition. You can still collect, but what would put you over the edge to pick up your first statue? Not to say you have to say bye to the figures. They can live in a world together. But for me, it gets to the point where you have to look at pricing and value, and what collecting means to you. It seems to be a very personal decision, as well as space. But I see these statues and these figures, they're creeping up to levels that were like sideshow pieces are almost at Hot Toy prices. Not 100% yet, but you throw another couple hundred into the mix and you're getting a full quarter scale statue that has an edition size, that can have an exclusive. My question was, what would be your tipping point? Is there a character? Is there a piece? Is there a cost that would say, hey, you know what? I want to jump into the statue world.
So for me, I think my first statue, like proper first statue, was the Iron Studios T-Rex back there. And for me, I had kind of started to get annoyed by some of the longevity issues with Hot Toys. I had a few figures. I want to say it was one of my Vaders, fairly museum pose. And I was looking at the figure one day, and some of the pleather or whatever that material is on the bodysuit was starting to peel. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't ever really handle this figure, outside of the initial futzing. I clean my, dust, whatever. Like, they're kept in good conditions, and it's flaking, right? Other issues like that, different belts that were flaking, and I just kind of got annoyed with like the soft goods portion of the hobby. And that's kind of why, like, I really don't like soft goods statues. That was actually one of the reasons that I canceled the quarter scale Prime 1 Batman. That big leather cape, I just knew that was going to be like a thing that was just not going to age well. And so, attempting to have something with a bit of longevity, I would say, statues are great, but they can also be quite fragile as well. Polystone can chip pretty easily. And I've certainly had to do my own repairs on my own statues, on statues of friends of mine. So that was kind of what made me get that Rex. And, since then I've gotten quite a few more statues. And I do try when I can to stick to that no soft goods. So yeah. But Ben, Marco, I know you guys haven't made the leap quite yet. Dean, I know you have made the leap. Curious to see what you guys' perspective are on a potential purchase or the ones you've already made.
Go ahead, Ben.
Oh, Dean was like mid-breath. I was
Yeah,
like,
I heard it after.
Well, I thought he was asking me because y'all haven't done it, but
you do it.
I don't need to answer because I've already done it. So you guys go.
Well, what made you make that decision?
What's got your toe wet?
Mostly price. Where it was like, wait a minute, I could buy a fucking quarter scale statue for another $100. Even like this Boba Fett. There. Yeah, but this Boba Fett is second hand, but I don't even remember what I paid for him, but it was like, I think sub 400. So it's like Hot Toys are $280 and then shipping and tax. I'm sitting at $320 ish. It's like for another $80. I could get a quarter scale statue that is huge and like a real statement piece, And then sometimes just love for the character, like my 2B. I really love 2B. She's a really sad, kind of tragic character, and she's super sexy. And yeah, so it's just kind of like, well, for the price, like, that was the big thing for me, was the price increase of Hot Toys as opposed to just buying statues.
Dean, so you like your women damaged, I see.
Yeah.
So
I love a girl who lost her parents young.
Oh my.
Oh my God, Dean, I actually feel the opposite to that. Instead of me thinking, oh, it's only an extra $100 and I can go a little bigger, I'm thinking like an extra $100 is, another half other figure that I want. And
true.
I think for me, like, my OCD bugs me a little bit when it comes to figure scaling. Like I said earlier about the Batman Begins figure, just the fact that he was that much bigger than all of my other MMS lines drove me nuts. I moved him into different areas of the room. I tweaked it. I did different poses. Like, I did everything I could do to try and fall in love with it. And because of the scaling difference, I had a really hard time with it. I don't think I would make the jump to statues unless somebody bought me one. If somebody bought me one as a gift, like Shauna got me a Christmas gift, she didn't know the difference, gets me a cool looking statue, I would love the heck out of it. That may make me buy more down the line, so I had something to pair it with, have more of like a display side of my collection room, stuff like that. But otherwise, I love 6 scale. I've loved it for years. I don't see that love for me diminishing at all. Even with some of the choices, the business choices the 6 scale companies have made recently, I still love the figures at the end of the day. When I come down to my collection room, it gives me joy, or however you want to say it. So I don't know if I could justify making the jump, because I'd be worried that the scale would just drive my OCD nuts and I wouldn't be able to enjoy it the same way. So for me, I'm trying to stay away from it. And that extra price also, even just that, is tough to consider. Even having the 6 scale vehicles coming, like the DeLorean, that's going to be the biggest 6 scale thing in my room, right? And I'm already trying to plan a way that will look good with everything else. Most likely with Doc and Marty, but we'll see how she goes.
I'm right there with the space considerations, right? Like, it's hard enough to fit your entire collection, let alone start to, space plan for statues. It just seems, a little bit too far-fetched for me, because I do like the figures, Ben. I'm with you. It takes me back to being a kid and having those action figures. 1/6 scale is kind of like that premium. You've got the likeness as well. So I think that's the thing that would, make me jump into a statue, and kind of, there's been 2 factors. So likeness, if it looked really, really strong, and it's kind of that premium ultimate representation, then I could jump into it. So I know I had my eye on the Prime 1 Blitzway, the Batman statue. I think that one's 1/3. Looked really beautiful, but I heard a lot of words of caution were like, hey, their finals don't always turn out like the prototypes. And so that, that kind of gave me pause. And also thinking through the price, I'm like, okay, for the price of it shipped, I could get the Hot Toys Batman, the Inart Batman, the Bat Cycle, maybe a portion of the Batmobile, like all of that, and have my representation of the film compared to, going all in on a statue. Gigi's kind of the opposite. She's like, I'd rather have like one really nice piece instead of a bunch of figures. So it's kind of funny for us to, have that conversation. And then also if it was something that I couldn't get in 6 scale form. So like John's Bane statue, that thing is beautiful. And, Hot Toys or any other company has not really touched a Bane like that from stuff that I know. So you couldn't really get that representation. I know Sideshow's premium format, I believe it's premium format, does the X-Men, the 90s X-Men figures. That's another thing that you can't necessarily get. Obviously, I've got the Cajun Card Dealer and Rogue on Her Way.
The
but
comic stuff.
There you go. So like comic stuff, which is not as close, is not as important to me. I'm kind of in Hot Toys for the realism, but there's a few properties like, the animated Batman film or animated Batman show and the X-Men that could, really drive me to do that. But again, I don't have the space, and I'd rather get the figures, but it's gotten me really close enough to diving in. How about you, Manny?
I think I'll consider getting a statue once I give myself a lobotomy. I'm just kidding. No, right now I think it's all about space. I'm with you guys. I'm in an apartment, and I barely have enough room to store these guys. I can maybe afford maybe like 1 or 2 more 6 scale, and then I'm gonna kind of be on that boat where I'm like, where else should I put stuff? But I think once I get a house, if I'm lucky enough to have a nice collection room, then I'll maybe start diving into those statues. There's some sweet ones that I've seen, but I just space, and then like spending hundreds, like not Hot Toys $200 or $300, like it's like spending like more than $300 or even a couple grand on a statue. It's kind of like scary right now, but
it's harder to justify to the significant other as well, right? Like, okay, $1,500 for one piece instead of like like $250 here and there.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, right. But no, once I get a
oh, just say it's only $80 a month,
right? But we're gonna eat ramen noodles and peanut butter for 6 months. So
hey, those are two go-tos right there. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's funny. Wow. So Gigi's in the comments saying she'd rather get the Batwing over everything else. I showed her a video of people mounting Yost's Batwing on the wall. And I was like,
Bro,
look how ridiculous this is.
God.
And she was like, now see, that's something that's cool. She's like, I would rather get that than all this other shit that you have.
That's
I was
bad.
yeah,
What did they use to secure to the wall? Putty?
it's pretty incredible. It's got like a pretty sophisticated little mounting system. So
Yeah, it comes
the
with a
piece looks
template
beautiful.
too. So you just put the template up to the wall, drill the holes.
Exactly.
And then,
You probably still want to find your stud, but yeah, it's,
here.
It's really cool. There
Hey,
you go. Boom.
I also do think that what I like about 1/6 scale is that every time I walk past it, I can tweak it just a little bit. I can move a hand. I can change the tilt of the
You
head
gotta check
a little
yourself.
bit.
You haven't tweaked that display in months.
You're not wrong. Yes, I have. Every day.
I'm just kidding, John. I'm just kidding, Ben.
But I did see at the comic book store today a Thanos on Throne by Sideshow, and I even had to send it to John because I'm like, holy crap! The presence of that statue was insane.
Ben, you should have got Zod.
Oh my god!
What a dingus.
Can I say one last thing? I've said
No.
more than enough, but Alvin
can.
J is saying, check Mondo for your cartoon X-Men.
Oh, Alvin.
See, like Mondo, to me, those are beautiful pieces, but the 1/6 just kind of look like big action figures. So not necessarily, in line with what I have with the Hot Toys. So it kind of lives in this weird area where I've been tempted, but not quite enough to take the
These
plunge.
guys are embedded. Hot Toys embedded. It's okay.
Hey, Inart as well, or anyways.
I almost got the Sideshow Wolverine, but I heard his claws kept falling out, and I didn't
And his
necessarily want
shoulders.
to glue it. So, his
got the
shoulders.
split
too.
shoulder
God.
design.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that one.
Oh, speaking about shaking.
Jesus. Give me 1 second here.
You guys kill
John
me.
looks like he's falling asleep and
Oh,
then comes
yeah.
out with these banger statements
was
every like
amazing.
10 minutes.
That's shaking. That was a good one, John. Holy shit.
Hang on, let
Amazing.
me
You love
give
to
me
hear it.
1 second.
The blood pressure this episode was.
So let's move our last discussion till next week, so we can just bang out a quick hot seat. Real easy today, boys. Throw in a softball. Last week was the week of love. Pick a panel member, say a compliment about them. Whoever's got the most thoughtful compliment will get 3 points. Everyone else will get 1 point. And then if you pick someone, like everyone else, pick a different. Don't all pick the same. I know we all want to shower Dean with a golden shower of compliments, but
Yeah,
you
and
know what
don't.
I mean?
Nobody compliment Zach because that's just he's gonna give you the points. Like
No. Come on, we'll let the chat vote.
I'm
Come
going
on.
to save my golden shower for OxCon, Dean, so you're safe for a few
Okay,
months.
Dean, we'll start with you. I'll participate as well.
just pick somebody and compliment them.
Yeah,
it's hard to
give
do,
them
right?
tell something nice. We haven't done it. I think the last time we did it, John forced us all at gunpoint practically to say a nice thing to each other, and it took us way too long. So
Okay.
it's been a while.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something nice about John because he's such a. He's kind of a hothead.
He's so full of
and he
shit that he's
kinda-
laughing.
No.
No, I'm
You kind of
kidding, go.
never really know like what John you're gonna get right. Whether he's gonna be really cheerful or really kind of not mean spirited because he's never mean to us directly.
Well,
Not bad, but.
Jesus Christ! Wow, you're supposed to say a nice thing, not a
Hold on,
backhanded.
I'm getting
compliment.
there, but like whoever just said it, where it's like he's sitting back and he just comes through with these banger jokes that come out of nowhere that you're like least expecting it from John. Like, oh my god, he's so funny when he needs to be, and you can always count on John to have an insight that maybe you didn't think about. Like, oh, okay, yeah, okay. He speaks for, like he said earlier in the show, his opinion is 1 in a million, but it's important that that 1 in a million opinion is out there, even if it's super unpopular, like me not liking Batman. So I think John is genuine to himself and the viewer, and he's funny, and I appreciate John every week.
I appreciate you, Dean. And
Let's
Cram.
round of applause. That was beautiful.
Thank you, Cram.
A little over a minute, but I'll give it to you. John, go ahead. Who would you like to
Oh,
compliment?
we're actually doing this. I'll go Marco. I think Marco has a heart of gold. I don't think I've ever heard Marco say a bad thing. Maybe once, but it wasn't even bad. Try positive outlook on collecting and interactions with others. I see it on other channels. I see it on his own channel. I see it even in the chats when he's communicating with people in the chat. Always tries to have that positive outlook. When he needs to be, firm, like he was with NECA, he'll be there. He's not scared to. So I respect that balance with him, and he keeps calm, doesn't go ape shit like I do. So yeah, I'd have to go with Marco. Marco's my guy.
He sends really mean texts, though. I'm not gonna lie.
I do.
Really mean texts.
Dude, every once in a while, I'll just check the chat and it's Marco's like, "Fuck Dean." I'm like, what did I do?
That was
I haven't
Zach
said
tonight.
anything
Come
all
on,
day.
Oh yeah. Well, I fucked up. All right.
How dare you?
I'm so embarrassed.
Amazing.
For me, I'm gonna have to go with my boy.
Wait, that's not how this works.
Wait,
it's Marco's turn to pick.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, is
You
it?
better not
Damn,
pick the person
okay.
I'm
I didn't
looking
realize
at.
there was rules.
Shit. Okay, man.
Well, yeah, it went from Dean to John.
Man, my
John
feelings
to
are hurt.
Marco,
First,
Marco.
he insults my figures.
Wow,
and
this
then-
isn't the roast session.
You shouldn't come back on principle.
We're gonna go with Manny, so I can spread the love around.
Thank you.
You tell me who you're gonna go with.
I was gonna pick Ben just because I feel bad for him missing out on Zod. And
Wow.
I mean no, but like regarding like his collection, I think we collect like similar, very extremely similar. Like he loves 1/6, I love 1/6. A lot of his characters that he has, I have a love for him. But overall cool dude. Your videos are I like watching your videos, and
Thanks,
if
buddy.
when I do meet you in person, I will 100% eat your ass. You can ask Dean.
Wow. April, baby.
Oh,
Yeah.
I will shower first.
the hell
thank you.
Monetization.
I need you to be fully
well-groomed,
marinated in your filth. No, but really, you're a cool dude, and I appreciate your content.
I'm glad you watched it. Thanks, man. That's awesome. I'm glad somebody here watches it. So
Yeah, at least there's one. At least
He's not lying.
When are you coming to Texas again? What day
When
is
are you
that?
coming so I can come too?
in April. In April.
Put the date in the private chat because I'm freaking out. I accidentally double booked that weekend.
Oh shit. All right.
Well,
let
now
me-
I'm
let me
going to
sneak
take
in
back
here.
the nice thing I was going to say.
Just buy some wet wipes. Buy some wet wipes on your way over here.
That's right.
This
Let me
whole-
sneak
this
in
whole
really
compliment chain
fast.
has just gotten bamboozled.
I like this idea a lot, though, and honestly, like we could be here all night if we were complimenting everyone. Like I have so many kind things to say about everyone on here, but I'm gonna go with Manny, my boy, since he's a new addition the last few weeks, or a new old addition, honestly. But Manny might be the low key, funny person. Like he's like fucking hilarious. He's probably the funniest person on here, honestly. So, and then he's like insanely talented as well.
Can we kick John out really quick? Hold on.
We can restart the show. It was off to a rough start.
John, I'm gonna be honest. I was gonna go with you because I was pretty sure no one else was gonna say anything nice. But
Wow,
no.
it's okay. I don't mind that. That's a compliment.
Manny
but
is
honestly,
Manny's my stepdad's favorite.
Yeah,
he
Manny's-
loves Manny. He's
But
so
he only
funny.
likes me when I talk like this. So
oh man, but yeah, no. So Manny, like, also insanely talented. Like, also like super eager to like help out. Like I was saying, when we were like first starting our logo, and when we did a recent revamp, like Manny was like going back and forth on logo designs, even when I'm being an anal asshole. He's just a positive person, and then meeting him in person, great taste in food as well. Taco Donut Shop.
yeah,
What's
there
the
you
name
go.
of that place
You can
again?
tell. The original donut shop, baby.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, and just want to say, like, the rest of you boys, like, love you all. Like, just really kind people on here. So I think we have a really great group. And this is a good one.
All right, Marco, you're talking too much. All right, good job.
Who hasn't gotten a compliment? Because this whole thing got upside down.
I don't think you haven't got a compliment.
I haven't, but who else hasn't gotten a compliment? Has everyone else been
Me
complimented?
and you haven't.
I think we should have done this.
I
With
thought you
connected to lie detectors.
No, I complimented John. John
I'll go.
complimented Marco.
Oh, okay. Well, I will say a compliment to Dean then.
Oh,
You have been a great co-host, a great host of the show. You've always been there when it's like an hour before stream and I have, I'm like wanting to do something super random that, is not on the schedule, and I'll be like, hey, you want to do this? And you're like, sure. I don't know what we're doing, but sure. And I think that's invaluable. You've had my back many times, in person and online, when some a-hole named Fighting Cunt is dragging me from his horse.
yeah.
And I think that's invaluable. I think 99% of what it takes to be a good friend or a good partner is being there for someone, regardless of the circumstance. And I appreciate that. I appreciate you for that. Obviously my family loves you, so I appreciate you being there. And, you're definitely, we've been through a lot of ups and downs, many more ups than downs. And, I hope the road ahead of us is longer than the road behind us. I think you've been a great partner for me.
Thanks,
now let's all say a bad thing about a different host. And
Ben hasn't
that'll
gone
give you-
yet.
I didn't say anything good about anybody.
Ben
Not that it matters, but Niculio had a nice comment.
You guys are my favorite of the collecting panel channels. First off, I love that. So real and so helpful and so fun and friendly. Love you all forever and always. Love that.
Oh, yeah.
Love that.
All right, Ben.
All right, Ben.
Ben,
let's hear
don't
it.
pick Zach intentionally,
Here we
so
go.
no one says anything
I'm
nice.
gonna rapid fire one out here. So, I'm gonna compliment both Dean and Zach.
What the
same-
fuck? I
at
can't
the
get my
same
own
time
compliment?
as a co-pair.
Come on, you
as a
Play the
co-pair.
violin.
Kiss ass.
It's a co-pair. The only reason I say
fucking
this, and this is for the chat more than for you guys specifically. not.
Say less, Ben.
We talk every week on the show live. There are some live shows out there where I don't totally trust that people have each other's backs. That they don't. They're probably not even friends off air. Like I don't always feel that from
Oh,
everybody.
name some names. No,
I'm not going to name any names.
Can you imagine?
Mostly Marco.
Jesus.
Mostly Marco.
he's like,
I don't
"I'm
get that
bargain bin
sense.
bros.
He's like, have you heard of LWO?
Ben, you have the job already, Ben.
I'm
Fuck.
playing. Oh my god.
Like, what do you think? Granny's here. We're gonna kick you off. You're fucking here.
Maybe.
He's like, damn, he's browner than me. Uh-oh.
That's what I have to say.
Jesus.
Pull out the violin. No, I'm kidding. Let's be respectful.
I was gonna say I'm happy you guys speak English, but that's not what I was actually gonna say.
I'll begin by activating my pot of greed.
Oh, shit.
By activating my pot.
Jesus.
I'm
Why is it on
I'm
loop?
planning a visit to Texas soon, and I let Zach and Dean know that I was gonna be in Dallas. They're in San Antonio, which I did not realize is about a 4-hour drive one direction. So for
Without
these guys,
traffic.
without traffic,
I hate
did
that
not
band.
realize that. So they were like, "Well, we're gonna come and see you in Dallas," and I was like, "Oh, that's amazing! Like, how close are you?" Thinking it was like an hour drive. No, this is 8 hours of driving without traffic, apparently, with shotguns in the side compartment, I'm sure, and cheeseburgers in the back.
What
8
the
hours of driving to
Imagine the
like,
smell.
I want an
the smell
American
of the
cheeseburger.
car.
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna bottle that. That's for the top tier.
It shows true friendship that you guys want to actually see me in person just that much.
Well, we want to see Shauna in person. I think you're just like a
She's
bum.
lovely. She's lovely.
I'm just kidding.
Well, he
You're-
looked at the map. He's like, if I tell him Dallas, Texas, there's no way they're driving 4 hours.
He picked the furthest city from San Antonio.
That backfired.
And then John is like the disappointed dad who, like, you always kind of want his approval. So, like, I'll send him nice things. Yeah, sometimes to be like, what do you think of this? And when he's like, wow, that's pretty cool. I'm like, oh, thank you. That feels nice. And then Marco, you've been a buddy
Okay, but
since
it's
I
one
met you.
compliment, though.
I'm just saying. But he's
okay.
also helped me through some pretty tough days lately, which I appreciate. And then Manny,
Wow, I didn't
you're
get a
just the man
text.
buddy, as well as I love your figures in the back. I love the way you got that displayed. Looks good. So
Thank
that
you.
was my rapid fire.
You
I
have-
could have got
you
that
have
out way
friends.
quicker if you guys did.
You have friends. You have friends other than Marco that can help you through tough days. How dare you?
Yeah, that one guy who suggested that movie that one time, and then I told you guys we should watch it, and he's never been my friend since. He watched that show, and he was like,
Are you talking about Pale
terrible.
Blue Eye?
Pale Blue Eye.
Cut him off after that.
Cut him
Can I
off.
say one last thing though? In terms of like Zach and Dean being incredible people, Dean picked me up from the airport on a day where he was like, I don't think he had slept and still was there.
It's most days.
waited like, yeah. Zach opened up his home. Zach opened up his home. Sent Philip the Fool his address. I was like, what do we even know about Philip the Fool? Like, hey, man.
I was like, I
just
know his
come
name is
through.
Philip. I know he's a fool.
ended up being a great guy, but I was just like, man, like they're just really trusting people. And same applies to all you guys, right? Like just developed such a strong friendship with all you guys. We talk regularly. So you really do love to see it.
You can be pretty trusting when you got a 1911 about 10 feet from you. So
Jesus.
And he's not talking about the gun either.
Oh, I am talking about the gun. Let's see what the chat's saying here. We'll give you. We'll check back in with the poll. We put up a poll for who could. Philip, if you fucking spilled that beer though, you better not come to Oxcon 23, motherfucker. I still haven't found out who did that shit yet.
Yeah, I'll fall on the sword for Philip.
There you go. Wakanda Forever. Let's blow through this. We're running a little long already. Queen Ramunda Shuri Mbaku Okoye and the Dora Milaje fight to protect their nation from intervening world powers in the wake of King T'Challa's death. As the Wakandans strive to embrace their next chapter, the heroes must band together with Nakia and Everett Ross to forge a new path for their beloved kingdom. This movie was kind of odd for me. Because I felt like at the end of, maybe it was Infinity War or Endgame, I feel like there was a point where like Wakanda was like, okay, like we're going to start integrating ourselves. Maybe it was Civil War. We're going to start integrating ourselves into like the greater, world politics and kind of sharing some of this stuff. And Philip says, I wasn't anywhere near the spilt beer. How do you know where the spilt beer was though?
Jack, I don't want to drag it out. Remember, Jesus.
Fuck. I'm
Spit
sorry.
it out.
I'm having a good time. But in this movie, it seems like they're very closed off, and there's certain things with the plot, like terrible things happened in real life, and I think the plot was kind of forced to be a certain way, and so I don't want to critique that. I think what Disney did was the most respectable thing. It's being that he didn't just walk away from the role; he passed, right? There was things that I like, things that I didn't like. I think Riri was probably a bit underutilized, and I think some of the decisions in the film weren't particularly wise. Attacking an army of ocean-dwelling people in the ocean, probably key amongst them. I don't know. It was okay. I give this like a 6 out of 10. We're here all night. I'm sick. I don't know. What do we got, Dean?
Yeah, it's not the worst movie. There are some parts of it that are really, really good, and then most of it is just kind of like a CGI fuck fest, and it's just like, oh god, like it's just kind of a mess on screen. But the villain was pretty good. Kind of a dick just for the sake of being like they needed a bad guy. But, you kind of saw kind of where he was coming from, so I didn't really dislike him too much, but it was like, oh, if you don't help us, we're gonna we have so many soldiers, it'll be like, World War III at your front door. And then they like show up and it's like, I don't know, 20 guys. You're like, what the fuck is all this about? Like, and then they take a submarine to go fight them in the ocean, which seems like the worst idea on the planet. And then they beat them on the ocean it was like, what? It was a mess. It's just, like I said, it's not the worst movie in the world, but it's not particularly great either. It's, like a 6 out of 10 for me.
Kind of, so I was expecting so much more. I was really disappointed with this film, I'll be honest. Even in the ads leading up, the trailers and so forth, I thought they would do such a more of a tribute to Boseman, to be honest. That's what I was expecting. In the beginning, with the flying coffins, and that was
I did not like that.
That was so stupid. This movie I didn't enjoy whatsoever. Namor was not. That's not Namor. And no, for me the best scenes in this movie was the little tribute they did at the end, and the end credit scene with the sun. That was the best scene in the movie for me. Other than that, I wouldn't even give this a 6. I think this was horrible, and I'm sorry. 2 hours and 43 minutes on this movie?
Bro, it's a long movie.
It's ridiculous.
The show's almost 2 hours 43 minutes.
It's
but
ridiculous.
Goddamn, it's a long movie.
I like the way they gave Namor his name. I think that was a cool little addition to the movie. But I'm gonna agree with you guys. 6 out of 10 for me. I don't know. I don't know if I can get behind this sounds dirty, but I don't know if I can get behind this new Black Panther. In my opinion, I think M'Baku would be the better choice because he's just, the dude's huge, and I think he would look pretty badass.
They're kind of setting that up potentially, right?
Yeah, I hope we see him in the suit soon. But yeah, I mean, it was okay. I think I'm starting to get a little bit of Marvel or MCU fatigue, especially with Ant-Man and Wasp. That was a cool movie. It was a cool movie, but I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like, all right, well, let's get to the X-Men already or something, So that's just me.
Yeah, I think the first trailer for this film set such a high bar, right? Like I got emotional. I think a lot of people did. Got emotional during the trailer. I expected this to be an all-time banger. I was like, this is going to break all the records. Chadwick is obviously going to be missed, but this is going to be like a fitting tribute to him. And I feel like for me, in a lot of ways, it did live up to that. In a lot of ways, it fell short too. So I would say overall, I'm probably closer to like between a 7.5 and an 8 because every rewatch, I appreciate the movie a bit more. It's got like some very emotional stuff that, the MCU this phase hasn't made me feel a whole lot of emotions in many of the properties. So I would say like it got me pretty emotional in several scenes, including the mid-credit or post-credit that John's talking about. So I think it, definitely succeeded with setting up like Namor and also, what's the name of the lost village? I'm losing it here. It's not Atlantis, but it's
Tulacon or something.
There you go. Yeah, cool. Exactly. So like I liked all the visuals of that. Like it was very dark and everything, but obviously made sense. Didn't necessarily love some of the silly plot devices and like Riri stuff as well. Like Zach was saying, it was a bit goofy. So overall, it's just an inconsistent movie. Obviously, Chadwick's presence is missed, but I think overall they did as well as they really could have possibly done with losing him kind of midway through production.
I think what would have made this movie infinitely better is if the Black Panther was what's the bald one? What's her name?
Okoye.
Okoye, because they make a big point of like removing her title of like the protector of Wakanda, and she's kind of like shunned from Wakanda, and it almost would have been like this really cool story arc of like, hey, like you're the rightful protector of Wakanda, and like I've just lost my brother, I've now lost my mother, I'm in no place to be the Black Panther, like it should be you. And they just kind of like, nope, it's Shuri, because it is. And it's like, okay, like I guess that makes sense, but also like, I don't know. I feel like it would have been a lot better if it had been Okoye.
I think the only reason they didn't do like kind of a power struggle for the title was because that was so much of the first film, right? So they couldn't necessarily go down that again.
Mm-hmm. I want to say one point after Ben.
Oh fuck! I'm sorry, Ben. I didn't realize.
Oh, it's all good, John. If it's on your tip of your tongue, buddy, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I go ahead.
Okay.
Just in case.
I liked this movie clearly more than you guys did. I did miss Chadwick Boseman in this film for sure, but I think that was kind of the point. Like, you should have missed him throughout it. It felt like his presence was missing because it was, and I thought that they still had a really good film. Even still, I liked Namor. I liked kind of his whole storyline and why he is who he is. I thought they did a good job of making you feel for him and understand his motivations. I think some of the best bad guys out there, you can understand their motivations. Thanos was the same way. I mean, he wasn't completely pure evil. Some of his logic actually kind of made sense. And if I were to put myself in more shoes, I may have made some of the same decisions that he did. I thought the actor, who I'd never seen him in another role before, did an amazing job. I mean, for me, he stole the show in many ways. I liked what they did, at least in terms of kind of explaining why Shuri becomes the Black Panther. While I do agree with you, Dean, I think if Okoye had been the Black Panther, at least the fighting and like the ability to truly defend herself would have made more sense. Because we hadn't really seen Shuri do all that much fighting up till now, right? I mean, she had her blaster cannons, but she was the scientist. She hung back like on purpose, and I mean, it's just the way it went. But I would have liked to see that too. I still appreciated what they did here. I think the payoff was that end credit scene, like John mentioned, with him having a son. That T'Challa name is still going to move forward, and they didn't have to recast him as a result. And honestly, by the time we get to maybe a Black Panther 3, he's probably old enough to be a pretty badass new character to the MCU, and it'll give us a bit of a break potentially from that for the time being.
Do you think that they're just going to pull another actor from like a multiverse and be like, okay, this is our new T'Challa that was the son or something?
Maybe.
No, I think the son becomes Tosin. I think. I don't know. I might be wrong.
I did think it was a little long. I thought they could have cut a couple pieces out of it. I did like the part with their FBI friend. Like, it's funny. I like the actor and everything, but like that part ran a little bit long. I felt like the whole Riri Williams aspect of the story was kind of like the MacGuffin of the film. Like it's kind of what set everything in motion, but it didn't give Riri a total like story, if that makes sense. Like, she's got some amazing comics. Like Ironheart is actually a really cool set of comics. I don't feel like they did a really great job of truly showing her level of intelligence. I mean, she's supposed to be at like a Tony Stark, if not higher, like level of intelligence. And I don't really feel like they gave her that. They kind of sold her a little short. So I think it was because they were trying to pack a lot into an already long movie, and it kind of goes through that formula of not getting enough time to truly develop itself. So it definitely had a couple things that I didn't absolutely love, but I still rate this movie higher on my Marvel list than some of the others. I would have still put it up as probably at least an 8 out of 10 for me. I did rewatch it recently, and I would say that now that I've watched it a second time again, I probably won't go back to it necessarily again and again and again. I feel like I've seen it now. Now I'm ready for the next phase.
Look at that. We got a new member, Philip the Fool. Welcome to the family, buddy. I will say I did like Namor a lot. I know it was kind of a controversial addition to this film, but I actually did really like the character. I think, I'm glad that he wasn't a one and done kind of character. And I will say I did really like the Killmonger scene. I thought that was certainly unexpected. I was a bit annoyed in the marketing. They were saying, like, you'll never guess who the new Black Panther is. And literally 0 people guessed it wrong. So,
can I shout out one scene really quick? When they kind of show that, both, oh my God, Wakanda and Talokan kind of like being destroyed, and kind of alluding to, there could have been a more peaceful path that, the story could have gone down. Like, that got me really emotional, right? Like, it felt like there's like some real world parallels. And so that was like beautifully done. So there are moments like that really like stick out, that are kind of tops of this phase of MCU, and maybe tops of lots of phases of the MCU, but just inconsistent overall.
Absolutely. Let's get to the interior. Dean, can we shout out these wonderful Patreonies, please?
Yeah, give a quick shout out to Ian Stevie, Renee Mendez, Eric Mariscal, Quinn Aguirre, King Louis, and Kevin, Mark Pearson, Paul Schreiber, James Colley, Equan, Chris Valencerina, Ben Thomas, Chris Letty, David Jones, Sam Giss, Daminator, Joao Bretta, Thomas Clark, Eric Switzer, Six Guns Figs, Bad Fish, Sweet Danny Lee, Deanie Martin, Stephen Krepp, Big Old Fern, Caesar Merrick-Wint, Mark Phillips, Lisa Martin Bomonsky, Rick DeGregorio, The Everyday Collector, Ricardo Valdez, Jose CZ, Erwin Azucena, The Illustrious Rainer, Aled Morgan, Two Cothright Wad, Derek B., Aries Portillo, Mark Randolph, Jazz Carroll, Joe Ridley, Pablo Meza, D-Rock, Matt Clevenger, Seth Tucker, CC3PO, Scott Smith, Don Maton, Jimmy James, Stephen Purchase, Sean Usby, Scott Bradley, Steve and Maria Stanley, Eddie Manzanares, Louis Bennett, Chip Perrin, Jimmy Hernandez, Gigi the Judgmental, and Brenton Palmer. What a bunch of angels.
You'll love to see it. February Patreon benefits. We have the Blockbuster membership card. For March, we have the Papa Ox sticker, and we'll have April announced very soon. You can join our Patreon. $5 a month gets you access to the digital benefits, $7.50 the Sweet Angel tier, which is stickers sent straight to your door, and of course access to that over 150 episodes of Vox After Dark replay. The $15 certified crispy certificate, the figure fix assistance, and all the benefits of the previous tiers. $25 gets you the What a Guy Pog Deluxe set on your first pledge and doubles of all the stickers that we send. YouTube channel members, we have Mojo, Z78, Absolute Irwin, DK Avenger 702, LMFG Rick, S Beam, Andres IB, Daminator, Sam Gist, Thomas Clark, Benjamin Hansen, Chris V, Big Ol' Fern, Cram, Victor Juarez, OG Fan, Mark Pearson, Ben Thomas, Paul Schreiber, Andrew Gibo, CC3PO, Carlito, CT603, Eddie Mendez, Sia Dreams, JC, B-Chan, Fat Batman, Justin Sports Cards Museum, and of course, Philip the Fool. You can join YouTube channel membership for 99 cents if you're a Patreon member, or $2.99 if you are in the Peanut Gallery, or if you're not, rather. For the Peanut Gallery tier, you get loyalty badges and custom emojis. Taking a look at the network, we have After Dark tomorrow at 10:30. Thursday we have OFAC, Friday we have Collectors Club, and then Saturday we have the season 1 finale of Live and Let Dice, the part 2. We wanted to wrap it up a few weeks ago, but with the way the episode went, it looks like we're going to wrap it up on Saturday, so be sure to tune in and show your support for that. We also have TeePublic if you guys want to buy the TeePublic stuff. There's the link there. Sam Gist said, whatever happened to the OxCon poster? I wasn't quite happy with it, the design, but we will definitely do one for OxCon 2. We kind of had some art made, but it just didn't really, I think it didn't really meet my standard for, I think, what we wanted to do. So Manny made us a great OxCon logo for this year.
Yeah, I was going to ask, when are you going to be able to show that off? When will the world see it?
Oh, let's show it off now. Let me actually, hang on. John, go ahead and read these socials for me while I pull this up, please. You may be on mute, my friend.
You are right. I never put myself on mute, and that was it. Facebook, Collecting Weekly Auxiliary is the main group. On Instagram, @Collecting Weekly, @CollectingWeekly_clips, and @The Everyday Collector.
There we go. Just give me 2 seconds. It's not pulling up the way that I want it to.
Wow, Sam, you're a savage.
Trying to
Can we
find
do shout outs right now?
Yeah,
in the
go ahead.
meantime?
Thank
Just
you.
wanted to give a shout out to Ben Thomas.
Jesus.
Love you, bro. And we've become fast friends, and looking forward to meeting you in person. And John as well. John, we all may have our disagreements, but the fact that we're able to move past it and be like civil and be friends still, I think is a testament to the strong relationships we built on here. So yeah, love all you dudes.
Hell yeah. Okay, Manny. So tell us what we got here. Let me. Here we go. Your fine work on display.
If anyone on the panel can tell me what inspiration I took from, you win a prize.
Is this
this is wrestling?
Raw?
Right?
No.
Yeah, it's wrestling.
No.
Raw dog?
No.
Is it
To me, it screams
Come on, Dean. You got
history of the world.
No.
Is it like Much Music or like one of those channels from back in the day?
Spit it out.
I drew inspiration from My Hero Academia.
Oh,
So if
okay.
you look at that logo.
I don't watch that show, man.
It's a good show. So good.
Sorry, never mind.
Looks amazing though. I like it.
Anyways,
Thank you.
OxCon 2, October, let me get the date correct here. Ba-ba-da-bum. October 20th to the 22nd, 2023. OxCon 2, baby.
Wow,
It's happening.
the people in the chat got it. Wow.
Look at that. My Hero Academia. You'll love to see it.
They said it after you said it. I see you guys
Okay,
out there.
Yeah, and you missed on
I see
Zod,
you.
so
Wow.
Oh!
You're not wrong.
looking at the poll, Dean the Dream Martin gets 3 bonus points for his compliment of a fellow host. So let's add that to Dean's score, and that will put us at this for trivia next week. Dean with 4 points, John with 2, Marco with 3, and Ben with 2 points.
I don't even think I was in that poll, by the way. I don't think I made the poll.
Did you really not make the poll?
Yeah, I definitely did make the poll.
I've got to
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm going to give you 1 bonus point. Fuck, you guys got to say something.
Oh, I didn't make
God
the
damn.
poll either. Fuck.
I thought maybe I wasn't on it because I could see it, so I'm like, maybe I can't, it doesn't
you guys
matter.
are idiots.
Doesn't matter.
I'm going to give you 1 bonus point, Ben.
Quick shout out for John. Check out The Everyday Collector on YouTube. Your short on that Bane the other day was crazy, man. It like, I'm not a statue collector, but I thought that was super awesome. And then Marco, I shouldn't even say this to you, buddy, because like I screwed you up last time, but he is 2 subs away from 800 and only 200 away from 1,000. So if anybody is listening that does not subscribe to 16fix, what are you even doing with your life? We appreciate you.
I just lost 10
that
followers.
Way. You just literally lost 10 followers. You hate to see it.
Yeah,
I'm never going to say
you,
anything again.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
There you go. There's some links there for you guys. But yeah, OxCon 2, this will be a sticker probably, I think for April we're doing OFAC because they're going to Celebration, but probably for May. So this will be a sticker for May. And then we'll have an exclusive version of the sticker on OxCon for those that attend in person, and some posters to sign for those that are in person, and digital downloads for those that can't make it. So lots of cool merchandise that we're planning for OxCon. But yeah, Ben, so you have 1,000 subs. Did you get your monetization working? Because I think that's the holdup for a celebratory stream. Is everything working for that?
I did get the monetization. Actually, that was going to be my topic of the day if I hadn't got so burned by Grand Theft Auto Vice City earlier, was what do you guys think I should do for my first stream? I know you guys have floated it out there that I should stream from bed or slightly naked. I don't know if I want to do slightly naked, to be fully honest, but maybe
Wait,
bed.
why would
but
you be slightly naked?
I don't know. People keep asking for it. I'm like, they're like,
No,
when are you
it's
starting
not you, Ben.
OnlyFans? Oh, it's
Jesus,
Shauna, right?
It's
Oh,
not you,
wow.
Ben. Jesus
You hate to
Christ.
see it. I'm just kidding.
All due
But
respect.
I do want to do a stream soon. I'm already at 1,100 subscribers, which is crazy. The last week is really
God
crazy.
damn, what the
so.
fuck?
Yeah,
are you
so
doing? Is it the shorts?
It's the shorts, man. It's great. They're crazy.
Don't forget about me, Ben. My goodness.
So I will
You're at a billion subs.
I will definitely put a, what do they call it, like a screenshot of when I'm going to do a live stream. So if anybody wants to join in, let me know, and it'll be fun. It'll be fun for sure.
Looking
Never
forward to
hosted
the
before,
April-
so I'm sure
April
I'll get
20th
really red.
stream.
There you go. You'll love to see it.
Wow.
My eyes, they're
Can't
so
wait that
red.
Anyways, anyone else have any shout outs they want to give? No? Anyone? No? Go once, go twice. All right. I'm Zach. Fuck, guys. You're killing me, guys. Jesus. Just play the button.